That was dumb.
Right. It's Friday. It's open comms. We made it.
Yay.
It's a holiday weekend. Hope everyone had a good 4th if you're in the States. And that's it. Red Hawk missed it. Red Hawk ever the 13th. Anyway. So hope everyone's got a good weekend going. What holiday? It's got a touch, Darwin. Garistas drops. There should be drops.
Just the description.
Oh.
You left the rest of it. You just
I
changed
just always
Vanguard.
leave the drops because I don't ever mess with the title. LB changes it up. I don't know if it's Garistas drops. If there's an active drop campaign, it's active here, and you're getting progress for it.
But we're pretty sure there's none.
Yeah, there might not be one going on right now, but yeah, I'll have to change it. Or just leave it.
False advertising.
I would leave it.
Yeah,
this way people think there's special Garistas drops or something.
I mean, let's be real. People would probably get mad at CCP and not us.
You'd hope.
Yeah, I usually just leave drops on in the title just because that way, like, I was like, half the time I only know if there's a campaign going on when I get on here, and then I look, I'm like, oh yeah, there is. But if there is, you're getting progress. If there's not, then no.
Then
just as simple as
that. Yeah, simple as that. So we do a quick what's everyone drinking? We don't have any manic music, but
I actually meant to grab I bought some Natty, like Natterdays, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a strawberry lemonade one or something.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like some Natty Ice. I was like, oh.
It's made by whatever, Natural Light or whoever.
Oh, okay.
But they're called like Natterdays, I think is what they call them. Gotcha. But I bought them just on a whim the other day when in the grocery store. I meant to grab one of those, and then I just grabbed a Reds anyway. But like, whatever.
A habit kicked in.
I didn't like. I thought about it before I went to the fridge, and then when I came back, I was like, "Oh, I didn't do the thing I thought about."
Yep, you were on autopilot.
And then, well, I'm just drinking. So I got some vodka and some Sprite. I was running late after work, so I just grabbed whatever they had in the grocery store or at the liquor store for mixers. But Scott, what do you got?
I'm out of liquor, so it is a beer night for me. But I am drinking
Visible beer.
I'm drinking Spotted Cow from New Glarus Brewery in Wisconsin.
Nice. Now so real quick, did we hit any of the Alliance tournament stuff from last week? I feel like we talked about it a little bit.
I think we touched a little on it.
I don't know if we really went into some of the new changes.
I bitch every time about like the prospect of them bringing AT ships back into it, so like I feel like I've already talked about it.
Well, that's the one thing I remember about last week was you guys talking about it because you did it during the 30 minutes I was on from the middle of the.
Well, there was only a few. There's like 2 or 3 AT ships that they were going to allow, but they did some revamps. They did some revamps of the rules. I think it was like last Friday that it dropped, so I don't know if we hit any of the new ones. Because now it's no longer sponsored by Concord. Now it's sponsored by Garistas. So now the Garista ships... Well, it said Garistas and various other pirate factions. So I wonder if like Garistas and maybe Angel ships are going to be cheaper. And they brought the Galente back up to regular price. Well, thanks, Zachariah. Also, what's up, Max? Ego? But, so I was listening to it, this was the, fucking password. Damn. Windows 98.
Fuck Windows.
Now I gotta find the thing. Okay, so I was like just having the Google Assistant read off the thing while I was driving so I could listen. And she's, because it's when they're going into talking about the team, the free invites from the top 4 teams last year. So, it's like Fraternity, Tuskers, and all that stuff, and like Barcode and Truth, Honor, and Light. And she's reading it off. And I'll just, so this is how it went.
For ATXX, the following alliances have received direct invitations. 1. Fraternity. 2. The Tuskers Company. 3.
That's barcode because it's a bunch of eyes.
Right.
Fuck.
Teams who
That
have been
was
awarded
awesome.
an entry slot must.
I was cracking up so hard when she did. I was like, oh my god, you just gave her a seizure. I was like, what the
Do you guys
fuck?
do you guys
That's
remember like
great.
the early days of, I don't know if it was TeamSpeak or Vent or if you could do it on any of them, but people would do like bombs,
I mean, yeah, I
and it
think
was just
so.
a bunch of people would do it, and eventually, if you got enough people doing it, it would like crash out the server and stuff like that. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, that was a. I was like, what the hell? It was. I had to look. I'm like, oh, barcode, right? Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it's a. I didn't get through all the rules, well, at least all the rule changes, but I do wish they wouldn't allow the AT ships in. I kind of like those not being there, but at least it's
I
not
get that
all
it's
of them.
conflicting because people like seeing the big expensive ships go
Right.
boom.
It's a
and
draw.
You don't see it a ton on TQ, even though I do see it, I would say often on TQ, like often enough. But yeah, it's one of those things, like Alliance Tournament in my mind could be so purist if they just like it was really just who comes with the best skill. It wasn't about money, blah blah blah. Obviously the
Right.
prizes should be about
Scott?
money. But I'm sorry.
Well, no, there's a prestige thing there, but yeah, I the
Like, if
exclusivity
you-
of the AT ships, because I feel like a lot of times it's like the Good Old Boys Club that has them,
Yeah.
and has access to them, and some upstart
Right, it kind of-
alliance. It's like you're probably not going to be able to find one to field one, even if you had the ISK for it.
It increases the chance of you snowballing into more wins, in my opinion. It doesn't guarantee that chance, but if you get them, you were already pretty good. So like, why give you any leg up? You know what I mean? And like the fact that they have a flagship is already kind of a wallet contest, but at least
Yeah, it
in my mind, it's not nearly the same thing. Like everybody has access to officer mods, even if they're hard to come by. Like in this day and age, people have more
Yeah.
access to officer mods than they ever have in history.
And you can
Because
get a
of
lot
crab
of-
beacons because of the new SOV update stuff that you can see them at Skyhawks.
and I feel like the
50 cents, by the way.
50 cents.
He said my name. I put there's a royalty fee now on
Oh,
using my name. I had to implement that to protect my personal IP, thanks to what CCP did, naming a part after.
Yeah,
me.
and that's right. I think you were saying that. So that I think it's only a couple of the cruisers that are allowed, and I think they have to be used as flagships, right? So that's the only way they're allowed in. I don't think you
Something
can just,
like
I don't
that.
think
It's
you
just-
can just feel the
it
AT
just
ship.
doesn't
I think you
make
have to
any
feel it
sense.
as your flagship, which does make it like a one of a kind. But at the same time, now, well, it's like now you're fitting up an AT ship with you're getting to put officer mods and stuff on it, which makes it even better. But at the same time, it's also not a battleship, so I don't know.
I mean,
It's-
my only hope is that we see a
Something wrong?
shitload of them pop, because that does make everybody like. I'm sure it drives engagement, and from
Yeah.
their standpoint, like it's a big, crowd in a bar. One of those
Yeah.
moments where everybody can feel it together.
and I was and
But it takes away from like the purity of it.
and you were talking about the officer mods, and I like those are very readily available, but also it's not like you can get any one you want at any time. And
Sure,
especially when
takes
everyone's
some-
buying them up for the AT, because I remember, I think I've said it
Yeah.
before, but it was like last year, some of the, I don't know if it was like Estimel's launchers or something, some of the launchers,
Oh,
because a lot of
yeah.
people were using Bargus and stuff like that. It wasn't as much Bargus. What was the other one? There was launcher ships in the highs, and people were buying whole racks of them for their
I remember
flagship.
Bargus.
And I think like all of the Estimel launchers were sold out. You couldn't get them. So you had to go
I mean, still though, you can find that like they're way more attainable than an AT ship, and cost wise, I mean, granted, a full flagship worth of officer mods, maybe probably. Yeah, I think the most expensive
Yeah.
ones we saw were like 180 bill or something. They
Yeah,
weren't,
there
like,
were some-
AT ship level, but
there was a couple really big ones. I think there was a couple that were like 300-400 million.
did we see
billion.
frats die?
I don't.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
remember
it was a year ago.
It may have been the year before, but I feel like I remember somebody having like 180 bill flagship, and I thought it was frat, but I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, there was also a few really cheap ones. There was a couple flagships they just had some like faction green mods, and I think maybe
Yeah.
a couple Dead Space ones. I think there was a few. The first few that died, like I think one was like 2.5 billion, and the other one was like 3 or 4 billion. It's like little cheap on the flagship side. I mean,
it
for
is
like
what it
for a whole alliance,
Again, it shouldn't
I feel
be
like
a
a whole
wallet
alliance.
contest.
Yeah, I feel like a whole
It
alliance
should be a skill contest.
Yeah, but I'm fine with the flagship mechanic where it's like, hey, if you want to, like,
I think if they honestly, if they limited it to like green and blue, like the literal like, in my opinion, then anybody could attain those mods. Like there's
yeah, I feel
sure
like
you
it's
could
not too
always buy out the
skewed.
market and blah blah blah, but like that stuff's in red at least, supply. Like a lot of people just have shit like that lying around.
Yeah, I don't
feel
know.
like that would bring it back to the grounds of like who fields the best squad and plans out the best comps and blah 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 blah. Not like
I
who
kind
could
of
spin their way.
It's also
far
sometimes
into
it's
this
like who could fit the best, and when
And
it comes to
don't get me wrong,
faction
it's
and
not saying crappy teams can buy AT ships and coast their way towards the finals. Like, no, I don't think that's the case. It's still very skill based, but like that's just this extra force modifier on top of people who are already probably really skilled.
yeah,
I'm okay with it being grittier and dirtier and not just like pure talent, to be completely honest. I like those extra dimensions.
Yeah, I like the flagship with the officer mods thing. I'm fine with that. I would prefer no AT ships, but I guess it's like a nice happy medium with the flagship thing. We'll see how it goes, but I could see that not being terrible because you're not going to see many of those. Because I feel like there's a lot of the battleships that if you get to officer fit them and Dead Space fit them and stuff, a lot of those battleships are probably better than fielding. What were the 2 cruisers that you could use? It's like 2 of them, I think.
I don't remember.
At first, I was thinking it was like the Concord ones, but I don't think you can use the Laylaps. Or was
I think the
those?
Laylaps might have gotten listed.
I can't remember. I'd have to go look.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that. I feel like there's a lot of, especially faction battleships, that if you officer fit them, I feel like they would be more effective and better than officer fitting an AT ship, maybe. But depending on the comp. But then again, that's kind of the.
It's not a win button necessarily. Although there is some aspects too of it being like a distraction or a damage soak if you do it right.
Yeah.
And everybody like gets a little blindered and trying to focus in it, and then you pick apart their strategy.
And like you said, it's not guaranteed, but there was plenty of teams last year that they would field their super expensive, like I said, the 400 billion-ish battleship or whatever, 200 billion, and it got smoked and they didn't win. So it's like, well, there it is. But I'm excited for the tournament. I always love it, and I'm pretty sure, especially now with the Garistas, in that new rules change thing, some little lore infusion, there's like some guy from the Garistas that was just talking shit on Concord and Galente and everything, and then that they were going to have a fun tournament that's better, and they were talking about gambling and stuff, so I'm pretty sure the bracket thing's coming back that they did last year, so I want to do again the thing we did last year, where have everyone from the show just fill out a bracket.
Yeah,
I look
for sure.
forward
if
to being in.
If they want, but it's like free brackets you can fill out, and whoever does the best, you win some prizes. I'll probably do like some top 3 prizes.
I look forward to being the worst again.
Were you the worst?
I'm pretty sure I was.
I think
if I wasn't last, I was second to last.
Okay, the Shapash, Sybil, the Besla, Jerry, Raiju, and Laylaps. Okay.
So that's like 3 ATs worth of different ships, isn't it?
Well, 6 because these are all cruisers. I don't think any of these are the frigates, right?
Oh, are they not? I thought the
Or is
Raiju was, but I'm probably wrong.
Maybe the Raiju
was
and
like a baby Garmin.
isn't the Gary?
Like
I think the Jerry's a frigate too. But no, because he said they're all available. I don't know. Would you take a flagship frigate? I highly doubt it. I don't know, maybe. But.
If you knew what you were doing, I guess. Sybil's a hack. Besla's a hack. Looking through this little list now. Raiju's an electronic assault frigate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if anyone would take a frigate for a flagship. But then again, watch everyone like, oh, it's the best.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say, watch if you're just
having OP
badass
tackle is that could get you
some
a
of
win,
that
maybe.
shit. Yeah. Bring with you some of the best Logi pilots to keep it alive, and then
Especially like the assault frigate too, because like You got someone good on those assault damage controls. Probably never die.
God, it's a long list. I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing like the 2 bands and then 2 bands. So, oh, Tambert, thanks for the sub. Yeah, so it's like each team bans 2, and then they get 2 more bands after that. So you get like reactive bands. It's nice. But, yeah, so I think they've already done signups. There was a roadmap for all this stuff. I
We
believe.
did our registration fee within the last week for my alliance,
Oh yeah, are you running it?
and I'm supposed to be the spokesman,
Spokesman. Are you gonna be on the
which
team?
means I can't play.
Oh,
Not to say I was gonna play before. I've always, it's one of those things that like I want to do one day before like Eve is over,
mercenary me.
but it's
Don't
such
talk
a
like that'll
I'll,
never
I'll,
be
I'll
over.
get you there.
it's such a time commitment, and I don't, at any given time I don't know if my alliance is like taking it serious any year, and like most of the time we don't end up fielding a team. I don't know how many years we actually have fielded a team, probably not many, but
I mean, as long as you don't bring auto cannon tornadoes at range.
I'll be
You
happy if
you
we
can't do worse
show
than
up to
that.
the feeders with 10 people, whether they're taking it serious enough or not.
Yeah, cost to get in is more higher too. It's like 4,000 plex to get in now.
I think I'm still owed 1,000 plex for that.
Ooh. I didn't know that there's an official spokesperson position.
Yeah, apparently. They said they may like, they're trying to like humanize the teams a little, and they may or may not, you know, ask.
Should have like a coach
banter
too.
between things
Like
and stuff.
all the esports, you got the coach that comes out in
A
between.
corner
match.
man.
Well, the coach comes out in between matches and is just like, telling people like this strat, take this comp, this like. Kind of funny.
Yeah, honestly, it would be kind of neat if the spokesperson could also compete, and just, you figure you'd rotate them out. Because like from what I saw, and even some of the better teams, you still have people rotating in and out. Like presumably they have more than 10 good people that they want to like let them play and stuff. But yeah, I guess apparently they just want me for my good looks, which is probably fine because I'm a terrible pilot. But I still want to do it one day.
Do an open comms team one year.
That would be. We'd have to make an alliance.
Honestly, let's
but
do
you
one
can
for
do
like
that.
the Anger Games.
I mean, I've got a tune that can make an alliance.
Yeah, I think it's gotta exist for a certain amount of time. But the Anger Games might be different. I don't know if they have any specific rules.
From
like
what I've
that,
seen, they've gotten a lot more friendly over the years with the mercenary rules. So like, it's probably not super unattainable, but
yeah. Well, with the mercenaries, but I mean like the actual alliance that you have to host with.
Yeah. But Anger Games, I think that would be kind of cool.
Well,
'cause
wait,
I think
we-
just about anybody can come together for that.
We may need to take ownership of the name Open Comms as an actual alliance in the game.
Probably should.
Not a bad idea for Dream to do on an alpha tune or something.
I don't think you can make an alliance on an alpha. You gotta have a.
I mean,
You-
Plex
there's
it
a-
for a month.
I have some high. I have some high sec characters. I just have to train up into probably some leadership skills.
you
or
need-
whatever.
Like the Empire Control skill or one of those like that affects
Oh yeah,
corporation
obscures.
size. You have to have one of those trained up to a certain level. I forget exactly which one it is and what level.
Yeah.
Aren't there
I
still
just-
services floating around that'll do that for you? Remember that from like back in the early days?
Yeah, or I can do it because I have a tune.
The
that
leader of
can do
CVA
it.
was like famous for it. He had like hundreds of alliances formed under his name, Harden, if I'm not mistaken.
That must be a former probably leader. Yeah.
Oh, like early era
Yeah.
CVA leader. His name was Harden, Hardin, I think. And like he had probably like more alliances formed than anybody else in the game because he was like the
Don't-
Cribba of that, back in its day. He was
Yeah.
the guy you went to when you needed it done. But this was like mid 2000s, whatever, mid late 2000s. I'm sure lots of people were doing it after a while.
That might have been one of the things they changed. Yeah, see, I didn't get that far.
Oh, it sounds like maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe I need to reread it.
it.
That'd be real interesting. Because I would make an effort to try to at least play a match or something. They have updated it thrice.
Spokesperson's not captain, right? That's different.
Correct.
spokesperson rules are to be relaxed. The previous requirement that the spokesperson will have to appear on camera is no longer required, but those choosing to do so will be provided an additional reward during prize distribution. For doing so, live segments will also be exchanged for pre-recorded segments, with these first segments likely to occur before the feeder tournament. It doesn't say anything about you being able to play, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it doesn't work out, then no big deal. But I know that in years past, we've kicked it around multiple years past, and it's generally like, can we get 10 people who are actually going to show up and do some work to like practice and stuff? And it's usually not. Like, I hate to say it, my alliance is pretty small and casual. We've had some really good pilots over the years that like I know can do some good stuff, and like some of which do mercenary on other teams. But
hire Radicos.
He tempted me that one time. I don't trust him. And he's probably doing his own team stuff.
Yeah, he probably is.
I don't think we could build a team unless we were like paying people to come be a team for us. That would be weird, but I'm sure
That'd be funny. Just be like the Yankees. Just open up the wallet. Just win the tournament. It's like, how did you guys do it?
Maybe that's how Frat did it last year.
We were very rich, and we're gonna sell all of our AT ships and break even at the end of it.
I don't know. Maybe somebody will do it one day. My alliance isn't wealthy enough for that, probably.
Yeah. Well, I think even a lot of the alliances that are wealthy enough, I feel like they don't necessarily open up the wallet to the AT team as much as. It's not always like I mean, like goons.
If you don't have
goons have vast pockets, but I don't think that they just get $1 trillion-esque to, fuck around with the.
Like as their tournament budget or whatever. I bet they could if they needed to, though.
That's what I'm saying. They could, but the thing is,
I don't know that they've ever wanted
to. How important is the AT to the coalition as a whole? Probably not that. So I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they get some number of billions in funding.
I mean, you think about just probability because of the numbers or whatever. Like, I'm sure numbers-wise, they've got dozens of people that could, like, skill-wise, I mean, that would be like plenty competent to make like a solid tournament run.
Yeah, but they have, but it also comes down to who wants to do it and who can't, who has the time to do it as well.
Sure, and I think to make it to the end, I think you do have to be the real like try hard, sweaty, whatever, put a lot into it. Yeah, but that's, I mean, hell,
that's the game.
Traditionally, big block groups have not made it very far, and Frat winning it last year was a huge upset because of that. So like,
that was weird.
There's nothing to say you can't. It's just whether you theory craft well enough and execute well enough.
Yeah, it's a lot of like Hydra, Vidra, Barcode, Tuskers, those groups that are just
which is kind of fine.
They're
but
dedicated
like, it is nice
tournament
to break
teams
up
like that. Odin's Call. Their teams are basically. That's what they do. They focus on the tournament for half the year, and then the other half of the year, I feel like they just roam around practicing PvP for the tournament.
That's exactly why
shit running in and out of ESS and stuff.
Back when Calcif was on their big winning streak for tournaments,
Templars, they did well.
I was in the same coalition as them, and Last Spartan and those guys were all just 4 or 5 nights a week, spending multiple hours practicing. And when they weren't doing that, it was fleet stuff.
Yeah. PL has, they were a big powerhouse, 8 years ago?
In the early years.
But
yeah, they were
I feel that there's a lot of the old teams members that did that either aren't playing anymore or have gone elsewhere or just aren't doing it.
I think a lot of them are in other hotshot teams at this point.
They kind of just, and they may have mercenaried out, I don't know. Or they just might not be in PL anymore, but so I know Rive was on the team this year, and I think he's like one of the few people that were on this last year. He was one of the few people on there that were, in the heyday teams back then. Like I think he's won like several tournaments. The teams that he was on, so yeah. So I mean, it was like November was running it. I think this last year. He put a lot. I think he was captaining.
Oh wow.
did.
Is he a pretty good
well.
pilot?
Yeah, he's a very good pilot. He was saying that he was like, I'm not very good with like the comps and like he's like when it comes to like picking comps and trying to rock paper scissor everything. He's not great at that, but he's like, you give me a ship and put me in it, and I will crush it flying it. And he does. He's a really good pilot.
That's awesome.
So he was like the tactic, but he wanted to do the tournament, and no one else was doing it. So he just kind of stepped up, took the captainship, and got some people on the team. And
Got enough.
I think it's like so him never doing anything like that before. It's like kudos because
yeah,
they did well, but yeah. So that's what is it? Feeders in August, right?
Maybe.
I would say end of August. I think it's end of August or early
I
September.
saw they were doing the announcements or whatever in July.
Feeder tournament. Okay, 4th of September to 17th of September. Yeah, feeders I think were end of August last year. They were a little earlier. This year it's early September, first couple weeks of September, weekends of September, I think. And then
it says feeder tournament. Maybe you're reading something more recent. I'm seeing 24th and 25th of August and 31st and 1st.
They've changed, yeah. So this is the revamped rules that just came out last week. So it's feeder tournaments are on the 4th of September and close again on the 17th. So
this one's from 6/28.
That's what this one is.
Well, this one just said the feeder tournaments like the last weekend of August, and then whatever.
I'm just looking down at mercenary rules, and then you got mercenaries must submit team captains, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Right below that is feeder tournament, and it says will occur 24th and 25th August and 31st and 1st September. Does it say 2 different dates in 2 different places? Because that would be really funny. I'm not trying to, bag on CCP, but that
didn't
would
read
be
the
funny.
beginning of I just saw feeder tournament in one of these statements, and I'm like, there it is. But it's mercenary submissions will remain open until. Okay, it's not fuck me. Read the card RTFC. But yeah, I don't know. I'm ready.
Teleprompters are hard, guys, and this is a very
it's a
high
scripted
production
show. We put all this together, 30 seconds
This is
ago.
fully scripted, actually.
Sometimes you should slow them down or you should dial them back, and that was my bad.
But so that's coming up eventually in a month and a half, a little more.
Who's hosting it this year? Did you say?
Garistas
That's fun.
is the host now, so Garistas ships will be cheaper. It said in that earlier in the thing, it said and other pirate factions. I don't know if that means all the pirate factions are getting reduced point cost, but I would assume, especially with the Zarzak thing, even though that's not the current expansion, but if it's Garistas and other pirates, Angels is the only one that I know of that is teamed up with them. So
Deathless stuff.
Yeah, so I would imagine it's probably Garistas. Angels might be cheaper. Definitely Garistas, probably Angels. And I don't think the Concord ones are going to be cheaper now. And I don't think they initially were going to allow the Marshal, but I don't think they're allowing the Marshal now. I could be wrong on that.
It doesn't shock me, but
I mean, yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, none of the Concord ships are allowed. I figured they would have allowed the frigate and the cruiser, but so they initially were going to allow. I think it was that they were initially going to allow the frigate and the cruiser and not the Marshal, but now you can't have any because fuck the police is what basically Garistas is.
That's
saying.
what I'm thinking. If it's a pirate hosted one, why would you let the police?
Well, it was going to be Concord hosted, but then the tournament thing in the lore was like, after second thought, thanks for the contribution from Concord, but nope, we're gonna go with the pirates. And Garissa's like, yeah, fuck you. What was the actual wording? I liked the quote from it's like, so yeah, the Garistas posted basically a lore thing like, yeah, we're happy for the business. This tournament has just been a little too corporate the last few years. Not that we expect any better from the Minmatar or Galente. This one is going to have some actual class, like a real tournament should. We've got a lot to celebrate, it being the 20th event and all. And we think people are going to have a real good time one way or another. We saw their little announcement yesterday. Why do you think we agreed to this? Come on, be serious. We've been watching the tournament for years, and it makes us sick to imagine Panaja, Pauk, and Suo handing out championship trophies over to alliances with some logo of weird mystical creatures again, or whatever run-up alliance it was that had a proud parent submit their child's artwork as a logo. It's just a bunch of
I like
shit talk.
Vicious.
Yeah. But yeah, so it should be good. But outside of the tournament, wasn't a whole lot of news this week. It's been a little silent.
Summer.
Yeah, I glanced at the channel.
Is that Scott Manley?
So we had AT that we talked about. I'm trying to flip back a little.
Yeah, it was
Let's see,
mainly
what
just
day
the
was
beat.
that last poll?
That was last week. We already
was
did the polls
before,
last. I think we
okay,
actually
right.
watched the polls last week or something, or maybe we didn't.
So we scroll a little bit. Liz put out another episode. I did not listen to that yet. Has anybody listened to the new Upwell Hollers live reaction episode of Liz's podcast?
I have not. I've actually been meaning to go and catch up on this.
And the funny thing is too, if you scroll just a
That's
hair,
right. It wasn't at the polls.
somebody posted that big like hour plus long Dark Shine stream that I've been also meaning to listen to. I just don't get a lot of chance to like devote an hour plus of time to just
Well,
silence.
I have a
listening to
new.
things.
I used to spend part of Sunday watching the VOD for oh my god, see, now I haven't been watching it. I'm forgetting the name. Bristol show that he left recently.
Rampage.
The Meta Show.
Oh,
That's
Meta
it.
Show. Yeah, Rampage
I
is.
yeah.
That's,
I was watching
was on
the Meta
Rampage.
Show every week, and I have stopped now.
yeah, I'm thinking the Pulse Bar Space Kid. I don't know if they're going to stay away from the Pulse Bar. I think that was just that one since the new expansion dropped and they wanted to, showcase planets since the new planet stuff was, well, not new planets, but the.
Who does the Meta Show now? Sorry to circle back.
Dave Archer.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I saw something on Reddit the other day that said Brisk wasn't on it anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't know who was on it at this point because it's been probably.
I was like, he's
Since
been
the
on
last big war
Rampage
since
Inc.
I've
for a
seen it.
while. I don't
He
think
still does. I believe he still like occasionally does stuff there. I never really watch Rampage though.
So is INN still like a thing at any level already?
They seem to be producing
just
less
Meta
Eve
Show?
less Eve content than in most of their history, if not all.
Does Matani still run that?
No, he handed off ownership.
Okay, I was like, I know he's not in Eve anymore, but I wasn't sure if he was
His
still running
multi-dollar
the
empire.
INN thing. Yeah, because I know the original intent of that whole thing was not just to be an Eve. They wanted it to be cross-game, multi-game platform.
And they still stream other games on it.
Yeah, and they wanted
Yeah, I
it
was
to be
gonna say, Gooms have
streaming of other
always had, like,
games, news from other games. Like they wanted it to just be like Eve and tons of other shit. And there, it didn't branch out. The popularity of the offshoot branches, I don't think, picked up as much as they were hoping. Kind of just still was mostly Eve, but at least that's how it was when we left.
Yeah.
But
I know they've always had like a multi-gaming coverage. More of a gaming guild than anything. Although
Which makes
obviously
sense
most of what we
considering-
see on the Eve side was fairly
front side,
dedicated.
front
to play.
rear.
But I mean, remember they did that H1Z1 and various other things.
Yeah, that's about it. that's the Eve news.
Let me go
It's
back. So
summer.
there was a thing for complete your Arkham Risen skin. Let me look at that.
What did you guys think of now that it's over? What did you guys think overall of this latest Vanguard playtest?
I liked the new plan. I liked a lot of this stuff. My computer had trouble running it because I have a dinosaur. It was running really fine, and then about every 5 minutes, I would get about 30 seconds of 1 to 2 FPS. Just
Did you play on the previous playtests on the old map? Like, did you have
Yeah,
a
and it
similar
didn't
experience
do
there?
that. I think it was this map. This map has a lot more detail. I think it's like, and the weird thing is, it wasn't the foliage. Like that's what I would have assumed is like you get like the weeds, like the big
Mhm.
multicolored like big bushes. That didn't usually mess my computer up much. It was more like the canyon cave stuff. Excuse me. I think that's because there was a lot of little individual pebbles and more detailed ground saturation of things, which is nice because higher level of detail is great. And like
But it hurt your
I'm not
machine.
complaining because it's like I don't expect game companies when they're designing a new game that's still in early development. I don't expect them to design it for
Right.
GPUs that are 10 years old. Like you can't really expect that. So like I wouldn't call it a gripe. It's just more of a disappointment on my
Observation.
end that I don't have a machine yet that can just run the thing smoothly. So, but I mean, when it was really running smooth in between those little choppy sessions, it was very fun. I liked the new weapon mods, freaking awesome. That you can modify your gun to do what you wanted to do. Once I started doing that, I was doing way better.
I would play that like as a game.
I
Like,
would,
I really enjoyed this latest one. It didn't feel like a true complete game yet because I'd like more weapons styles still. But it felt way closer than any of the other ones before.
Yeah, I liked this one where, especially since they added some of the zoom upgrades, so there's gonna be like sniping. I liked I don't know if there is more than just a 2x zoom. I never
Yes.
found one. There is, okay.
Yeah.
And I assume there's like semi-auto, like single fire. So you basically make a sniper rifle essentially.
On one of the playthroughs with Kale and LB, we found a 5x.
Okay, so there's sniping, and I assume
Oh yeah,
there's single fire. I only found the triple round burst.
LB had a lot of fun once he was able to properly kit out a sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
He was enjoying that.
Yeah, so I think that would be cool. But I like that this new map had lots of ledges, lots of there was lots of spots where sniping could be effective, and there was corridor fire and stuff. It was, and I think the first map would have a lot of that too. It's just the first map without the weapon upgrades. You were basically just stuck with everyone has an SMG, the same SMG, and you run around. So I think if you reintroduced the first map with these new weapon changes, would make
and
it
the
a much different play style as well there. So
I really liked the smarter and harder to beat rats too, that like they weren't all just the same dumb ones.
yeah, the drop pod rats were fun too. At
Oh,
first,
yes.
I couldn't tell if those were like players. I'm like, well, I knew it wasn't players because it's like a drop pod, but it's literally drop pod, and then like it just slams open like the the Warhammer 40k Marine drop pods, and like 4 dudes come running out just like charging you. It's pretty good.
I didn't try out this most recent one just because I had been so awful at the last ones. We talked about it last week, but now I kind of wish I had because it went for a while.
And the thing is, like, I think that
10 days.
with the weapon mods,
Yeah,
like,
it was
when you
much
get
longer
to
than
set your weapon up the way that to your playstyle, like I did way better.
But
So just
thing that
real quick, just the machine gun side or the SMG side of it, I'm not good at that, but I was able to swap it to 2x zoom, so it's like an ACOG almost, and then triple round fire with like some accuracy. So that's where like if they were further away, I could actually hit them. And then for up close, I'm bad at like aiming down sights and shooting close range. Like I was just bad at that. So I just swapped my alternate thing to massive hip fire accuracy. Like I think I had like 5 different things increasing hip fire accuracy. So like if I aim down the sights, but because it reduced aim sight recoil and all that. So if I aimed down the sights, it would just go. It'd be like a shotgun. But if I just ran at people and hip fired up close, it was pretty damn accurate and did a bunch of damage. So it's like if they're up close, like just point and shoot, and if they're further away, then you aim down and fire. And I was doing so much better with that setup than I was with just the regular SMG.
It did suck in this one though. Partway through, they did an update where when you died, you respawned pretty close to where you had died previously. And I think the whole idea was to make it so that you'd get closer to like your squad mates. In practice though, and I ran into this like when I tried playing on my own, and Kale and I ran into it playing together. it was easy to end up just getting repeatedly farmed by the same person potentially if you were against a competent player, and it got frustrating.
It usually did that, but there was a couple times, and maybe it was just where I don't know if it's like an algorithm or something, but like there was a couple times where I was like, because yeah, it's like you just spawn right near where you were, and you just like run really quick, and you catch up. But there was a couple times where I would like reclone, and I'd look, I'm like, oh shit, I have to run across half the map to get you guys. It spawned me way up where we first started, and we were down like in the, you guys were down in the center of the map, and I was like, okay, well, I'll get there eventually.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, just start decaf running through the tunnels. I'm coming, you know.
But I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm sad it's the last playtest for a while, according to the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work to do on it at this point. Well, I mean, of course there is, but I mean, I think there's a lot that they can work on with this last playtest, especially with the new map. There's probably tons of tweaking to the map they might want to do. That takes a lot of time. But
I hope we see something again soon. Keep in mind that this game, they've been actively working on this game in a way that where they've publicly acknowledged it since 2022 and working on it since like 2020. So like the timeline.
Was it
of
that
this
far
is
back? Because I know there. I thought that far back was like Legion, and they canceled Legion. But
FanFest 2022 was the first time that directly to like the EVE players, CCP Hilmar actually mentioned Vanguard in like the list of projects. And at the time he mentioned the name and then said something along the lines of, and if I say anything else about this now, marketing will kill me.
Oh yeah, okay, 2020. I thought
Like
you said 2020 though. I was like, oh,
well, no, well,
it was that
they'd
far
are
back.
at
They were
that
working
point.
on it then.
At that point, they had been working on it at the London studio for like 1.5, 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
So they've been working on this game for a while.
Yeah, it's I liked that. I mean, aside from Dust, because that I guess technically was fully released, or was that still early access beta? Like when it
Fully
dropped?
released game.
Okay, I
Dust
thought it
was
was
only
Poor
once.
choices. Poor choices wouldn't be,
Yeah,
but it was a fully released game.
Yeah, I mean the obvious poor choice was designing it exclusively for a console that was on its way out the door. Is the new thing.
Sure.
Also, exclusively making it for console when your main market base is PC gamers was also a poor choice. So
Yeah, me and my best friend at the time, who were roommates, we both had PlayStations because we played a bunch of Battlefield together, like in the same room on 2 different TVs, and so we both played Dust for a while together, and it was honestly like I liked Dust. It was a good shooter. I wouldn't say it was like amazing. Like I played a bunch of Battlefield. There was games that were more engaging and whatnot, but like it was pretty neat for what it was.
I really enjoyed the idea of Dust. Now I don't think I played it after full release, but I did play quite a bit of it when it was early on, and maybe that's a bit of a bias on my part, but I loved the fact of being able to fit your suit up like you would an EVE ship. I loved that because you generally don't get that in other FPS. I mean, you get body armor options and helmet options and stuff like that in Counter-Strike or other FPSs, but I mean, or you can choose different weapons, but it was nowhere near like the fitting setup that you would get with a suit, which was basically like an EVE ship. So I loved that aspect of it, and I liked just the fact that it was in EVE. I did like the fact that it did have some impact in the game of EVE. It's just the actual game itself, when you go into the maps, seemed very plain and lackluster. They just really didn't pop as like a really cool setting. It just, it wasn't like it was just straight polygons, but it seemed kind of bland. Like the maps seemed very bland to me. They seemed very like paintball arena-esque as opposed to a really cool FPS map. But,
Hale and I were roommates at the time when Dust was still a thing and he would play it. And I remember watching him a few times and same kind of thoughts really drained him. Like I was just like, oh, okay, that doesn't really look like too enthralling to me.
Oh,
Oh, wow,
no! All right, we got sad shots getting called by Manic. His Manscaped
Oh.
lawnmower 3.0 crapped out after 5 years of faithful service. So here's shots to Manic's probably half trimmed bush right now. I hope he
And that's
started
the
on
worst.
one.
Am I wrong?
I hope he. No,
You're
to
not.
Give you,
I was
just to give you a
was
mental
just
image.
thinking that.
I hope he started on one side and like the others. It's just like like the it's. What
I've
do you
done it
call
with my
that?
face.
Where, yeah, like where you have like the
I've
image
never
where
had
it's
one
like
die on my balls.
he got half to. Oh man! Now he's got to wait a week to order another one before he can finish. That's hilarious. If it wasn't that area, Manic, I'd like take pictures and send it, but don't do that.
Yeah, it's
we'll
probably
do
best.
shots to the half.
We'll
Bush.
do that in the private chats.
Like
That's
Tom's
hilarious.
OnlyFans edition.
Yeah, no, don't.
I will not be taking pics.
uh,
How do we know he's even telling the truth?
yeah, how do we know? But yeah,
Do you have any further Vanguardian?
well, yeah, well, the dust thing though. So I like
sorry.
that I liked that they had kill streaks. I don't know. And like the one of the coolest things in Dust was like just jumping. Like you spawn in the ship and you jump off and you just kind of do like the power land. Like that was fun. That's always. I mean, that wasn't a core thing of the game, but that was exciting. But I am really excited though with the Vanguard because man, have they come a long ways, and it's possible. And I mean, they're letting you kit out your gun with slots. That may eventually be a thing. I could see that being a thing with armor down the road as well. Where you can kit out your suit for like make yourself.
How'd you feel about the mechanic of losing your stuff if you couldn't extract?
I'm fine with that because that
Loss
holds,
matters.
Yeah, that holds in line with Eve, and that would make it not different than all FPS. Because I mean, Tarkov is kind of like that, right? If you don't extract in Tarkov, you lose your shit.
Right.
So it's not like it would be unique to FPSs, but it would hold in line with the style of play that Eve is. Like Eve, you lose your ship, you lose your shit, unless you can go back and loot it before they do and not die. I don't know, but so I'm fine with them, actually having consequences to dying and losing your stuff.
Agree.
And I'm fine with that. But yeah, so I like though that this game, like the maps are they're huge as opposed to the old Dust maps. The old Dust maps, like I said, it was just like a small arena with some obstacles put in there. This is these are like full-fledged big giant maps. They're very detailed. They look great. They look great even in the beta or the open alpha or the alpha or whatever it is. So I can imagine that even in the future they might get even polished up a little more. So that's awesome. I think that this game is, I mean, obviously way better than any past attempts at their FPSs, and I think that if they keep going the way they're going, hopefully it'll just actually get a release, and I will play the shit out of it. I will have to get a new PC first, but that is in the plans eventually.
Yeah.
So I mean, by the time it comes out, I was gonna get a new PC next year, but I'm going to FanFest, so I probably am not getting a new PC next year. But the year after that, I will probably get a PC, and that's probably about when Vanguard comes out, hopefully, and I'll be ready to play it.
I
Or if
wouldn't
it
be
win the
surprised
lottery.
if they tried to time something for FanFest.
Wait, is this just pure vodka, or is this? No, that's still mixed. I was
I've
like, man, I
moved
don't
on.
remember.
I'm drinking raspberry tart, which is another New Glarus beverage, but it's basically like a raspberry flavored beer. It's very delicious.
I just got vodka and Sprite, so I don't know what the mixture is of any.
Check for bubbles.
Well, there's gonna be bubbles in both if you mix it or not. It's just I just have to.
Does
Wait,
it
there's
burn
bubbles in
when
your
you
vodka?
drink it?
Well, I sipped it. It's mixed, so it's good.
Well, otherwise,
Yeah.
if it was pure vodka, you just grab the Sprite bottle and drink it like a shot and chase it with the Sprite.
Mm-hmm. Then I'll end up talking about my balls for an hour
Solution.
after the stream. Can't have that.
Manic's already trying to get us on him.
Yeah, that was. I don't know what that was. I shouldn't have even said anything. Now people can go look at VODs.
So of the things that came out this week, I'm gonna jump to the next one just because I'm
Is
making
there
my way
next
through
one?
the channel. There was a few, and I have them open as links or tabs so I can work our way through it.
The Keeper of
This one
Knowledge over
is
here.
to complete your Arkhambine Arisen skin collection, which some of those people have gotten throughout the Vanguard testing. They were some of the rewards for them. Not necessarily these ships that I think you can buy in this pack. But I know that like the Probe and a handful of other ships were given as Arkhambine, whatever.
There's a bit.
Rewards for Vanguard.
Well, there's like a bit of Arkhambine skins for that. There was some Arkhambine skins rewarded for Vanguard testing. There was also Arkhambine skins for drops. Quite a few with the drops.
Yeah. So that was a recent theme. So this dev blog, whatever this thing, news item, is talking about complete the collection if you so choose. Lists different skins. There's an Astero, Orthrus, Phoenix Navy issue, Revelation Navy issue, Naglfar Fleet issue, Catalyst Navy issue, Thrasher Fleet issue, Mamba, Mechoball, Kizreel, Alligator, Cayman, Bargus, Moros Navy issue. So
Rev
all the Navy
Navy.
dreads. It looks like some
Oh, the Rev Navy looks so good. Fuck, do I have to spend money on this?
God, what's the Bargus? The Mortis. It's got some of the Mortis line here. The Orthrus, Bargus.
Yeah, Orthrus. I think it's just Orthrus Bargus, and then is that Catalyst or Catalyst Navy? One of the two.
It was Catalyst Navy, Thrasher Navy.
That's the.
Is it all the Navy destroyers?
The
I don't see
Astero?
any
It looks
others.
like.
Yeah, there's
That's the-
there's a selection of them. I can't.
I like
find
the
rhyme or
Astero
reason
one.
to all of them,
that's the Kizreel I see there. What is that one? Is that the Mamba? That's got to be the Mamba.
Yeah, it looks like a Corax or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, you almost say the Corvette.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a
that's the
Mamba.
Mamba, and then yeah, the Rev Navy. Fuck, I might have to get that. I don't have a skin from the Rev Navy.
They're
I
pretty
don't really
sick.
use it, but I need
If
to get one.
you're into skins, these are pretty sick. So the announcement is that there's a sale going on for them, or a sale. I don't know, a pack going on for them until July 11th. You can buy them either out of game or in game, whichever you find easier to part with money. In game, I looked at the pack. It's 25.45 or something like that Plex.
I
So it's
have a
about
Rev
5
Navy,
months
and
worth of Plex at regular full rate.
I've not been able to
Not
use it for
crazy.
anything more than a suitcase, and I'm tempted to just fucking fit it up as a haul and drop some.
Because you work too late for the big dread battles.
just randomly drop it on someone that
You can also buy it out of game for about $100 US. It's like 90 something dollars.
and then I'll die, and then I'll get in trouble.
So that was that one. Then we also have a beat.
A beat. A beat.
We've
Like
got
a
a
weekly
beat.
beat?
We've got a beat.
Yeah,
We've got a beat.
we got the beat.
We got B.
Top item is Blog Life. Stories in New Eden come in many forms, from epic battles to solo adventures. What we love about New Eden's rich blogging history is they tend to put a spotlight on smaller stories that don't get featured elsewhere. Take The Ancient Gaming Noob, for example. In a blog that dates back to 2006, chronicling the interactions from the perspective of capsular Wilhelm Arcturus, we can look at Eve throughout the years. Recently, he shared a story about Sir Fuckalite,
Sir Fuck a light, yeah.
a pilot in New Eden who strove to unlock a mysterious ship spinning secret, only to find out there was none to be had. TAGN shares the story and takes a look back at the community's fascination with ship spinning. A must read.
I like that they're trying to be like nice and not formal, but just very, with the whole beat, and then it's like, Sir Fuck a lot or Fuck a light. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce
Perfect.
it, but it looks like that.
It's Fuck a light. That's exactly what that guy meant for it to be. That's solid.
That's fair.
The picture of the guy below that, it's got like the Ragnarok kill mails on his shirt.
Oh, it's 2 images below.
Oh, well, I thought, well, yeah, the first image is like the one that you were just reading.
Well, okay. I guess.
Sorry, I'm like.
I
zooming.
Just keep
personally
it ahead.
read
I'm trying to narrate.
I read that as Fukulit, by the way.
Okay,
Just saying.
fair enough.
Fukulit.
I think we should put it up to the community, and I'm going to copy and paste.
Sir Fuck a lot. Bum, 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 bum.
Curious to see what New Eden looked like. Wilhelm has also has an amazing collection of screenshots that he's collected throughout his journey, dating back to 2008. His first post, a shot of the wolf from 2008, is just downright iconic. For a nice hit of nostalgia, or just to satiate your curiosity, check them out over at the Eve Picks blog. And then what Drayden was talking about, SRP done right. Over on the Eve Online fans Facebook page, Razor Maiden shows how his CEO takes ship replacement to the next level. And then it's got a picture of a guy with a bunch of Ragnarok losses.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was thinking that was Scott Manley for a second.
Okay.
It's the I mean, not just because he's bald, but I mean, it definitely like just even the ears. It looks like Scott Manley from the back, but it's not. You can see the
fact that you know what the back of Scott Manley's ears look like.
I watched his YouTube channel a lot because I was big into Kerbal Space Program. Still am.
Sure.
But and he did a lot of stuff with Kerbal. Although tangent, speaking of Kerbal, I mean we got a tangent if it's the beat. That's what we do. Kerbal Space Program 2 no longer is dead. Well, dead, but pretty much dead. I'm super bummed. I was so excited about that game. So Intercept Games bought up the IP from I think it was Squad. They were a small team out of Mexico City. I think it was like 6 to 8 dudes or whatever that made the first Kerbal game. Maybe they've expanded since then, since that game got really popular, made them a lot of money. But so Intercept Games bought Kerbal, and they announced they were going to make Kerbal Space Program 2. I was like, hell yes, because the first Kerbal was awesome. The graphics could have been better. You could get mods. There's tons of mods for it. You could get mods that would make it a little bit better. But a brand new game from the start, I was like, better graphics, all this stuff. I was super excited. And then Intercept Games gets bought by Take-Two. I'm like, okay, who the hell is Take-Two? Well, I guess they make Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, so they're
Take-Two, yeah.
I was like, I thought Rockstar Games did.
Rockstar.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought Rockstar.
It's a production house.
But yeah, so Take-Two owns them. So Take-Two bought Intercept. I'm like, okay, and there's a lot of people like, Take-Two is sketchy. I'm like, well, whatever. But and Intercept, they kept trucking on KSP2, and they came out with early access. I bought it because I was like, I want to play it. It wasn't very well optimized, so my computer was like wanting to melt when I was playing on low settings. So I was like, okay, maybe I won't. But then they optimized it, and like now I can I could play it perfectly fine. I still had to have it on like mostly low settings, but I could turn a few things up, and it was running fine. And then they added the science. It's like they had a roadmap too. They're like, we want to do this and this, and we're gonna add science stuff, and then we're gonna add this, and then eventually multiplayer, which is down to the end, which was like super exciting because KSP1 never had multiplayer. So they were hitting all the points. It's like, cool, science is here, and like they kept working, and there was like tons of work being done on the game, updates happening, and I was like, this is exciting, it's great. And then I just this last month was playing, and I saw on the Steam thing a lot of people posting that this game is dead. The company, there's no support for it. I'm like, what are you talking about? There was an update like 2 weeks ago. And I looked it up, and Take-Two laid off the entire team that was working on KSP2 that was at Intercept Games, laid them all off, like all of them. And I was like, and then I read that I was like, okay, so what's going to happen with the game? And then they're like, not only did they lay off all the team that was working on KSP2, they then just said that they are going to close down Intercept Games completely. They just like they're going to close the company. And they're looking to sell the IP for Kerbal. No one is really wanting to buy it. And so now the game is just totally dead, no support, and that's it. So the last update that happened in June 11th is probably the last update it's ever going to get. And that bummed me out really bad, because Kerbal is probably one of my more favorite games that I've ever played. It's, man. Fuck you, Take-Two. Piece of shit. Well, the thing is, like, it was progressing, but I think they were like, oh, this game isn't progressing as fast as we want it, and they wanted to make... They already made a shitload of money by selling early access, because here's the thing, the early access to KSP2 was $40. So that was, like, not quite AAA game prices, but, like, that's a pretty expensive early access purchase, and they sold tons of them, so they made shitloads of money on that game. they had a bunch of money to invest into its production and development. But just because of some negative initial, because of the not optimization when it first came out, and a little bit of like a negative review early on, Take-Two just was like, fuck it, abandon ship. And it's like, if you stuck with it, this game would have turned out great, I guarantee it, and it would have been, and it was already open for modding, and there was tons of mods being made for it, and it's just if they would have just like stuck with it, had a little bit of patience, and a little bit like known that if you just give it a little bit of investment money, it's going to be a gold mine, just like the first Kerbal was, but they just refused. They wanted money now or fuck it, and they went with fuck it, and fuck that company. Anyway, tangent over. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Well, and so I went reading about this because I was curious. Intercept Games apparently wasn't bought by Take-Two, but rather was created by them as one of their. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they bought them.
No, Take-Two established a new, yet-to-be-named studio under private division in February 2020, later named Intercept Games.
Oh yeah, private division.
Located in Seattle to take on the development of Kerbal Space Program 2. New studio staff included more than a dozen former members of Star Theory Games who had been working on the title, including a couple specifically named people, which had been previously handling the development of the game, but outside of Take-Two's structure.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, private division. So yeah, Intercept Games is what they became later. But yeah, private division is like the trailer for the initial trailer for KSP2. It says private division on there. That's right. I remember that. But still, it's a bummer. Really big.
Yeah,
bummer.
for sure.
It is.
And I mean, it's like the people are like, well, the game is. Like, I remember saying that like Dirk Statiel in Discord was like, well, it's not dead yet. Someone could buy the IP. But a half-developed game that had a lackluster initial release, initial early access, there's still a huge fan base for Kerbal. But I don't. It would be a bit brave for a company to take up that IP. So I as far as I can see,
Well,
I don't really see anyone purchasing it anytime soon.
What makes me sad about it too is so from what I was reading, a couple or like a handful of employees from Intercept were brought back over to like other Take-Two studios. But the majority of them were left. Majority of them were just left. Well, they sent some of their own people to there initially, though. But the everyone else was just left completely adrift with just really. They could try to pitch to other people to save the studio, but no one is.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
I'm sorry. The beat.
So it was on Shirt Guy. We love seeing the diverse cultures from the various groups and corporations across New Eden. Anyone can link a KM in their bio, but commemorating them on a t-shirt, sign us up. Learning skills to 5. Looking to learn a new skill or just mix up your in-game activities? Our EVE partners are an incredible resource. Farming DED sites can be incredibly lucrative, and we've seen some guides with very diverse ships, oftentimes T3Ds. However, if you want to shake things up and maybe just give yourself an excuse to fly something new, Zach has you covered. In his latest video, he takes a Skybreaker to its limits and shows you exactly how to utilize its unique weapon system to finish DED sites insanely fast. And it's a video on YouTube put out by an EVE partner. Interested in mastering the markets? Then dive into the Oz report, where Market Master, EVE partner, and CSM member of the Oz breaks down market trends and offers expert tips on mastering the EVE economy. It's got a link to one of his videos.
Is he still doing the other, like the Shark Tank thing, or did he?
I haven't seen one in a while, but I haven't looked in a little while, so I'll say that. They were doing like 5 an episode, and I think once a month they were doing the episodes. I think they made at least 2, maybe 3 episodes, but I haven't seen one in a little bit anymore.
Okay.
Anybody who hasn't watched the Oz, I think he usually puts out a stream midday Saturday that kind of does like a market recap when he can anyway. I found them to be pretty good. He's an entertaining guy, and I like his market insights. He's got pretty good economic mind. Upcoming EVE meetups. Have you ever been to an Eve meetup? They're a fantastic way to expand your social circle and just nerd out over Eve. Starting on August 8th, we welcome back Eve Poland, a fan favorite event that's sure to make that's sure to be better than ever.
Is that a picture from the last Eve Poland, or where's that from?
It does not say.
I see Eve.
It says there is an Eve
I'm
Poland
trying to-
Discord.
Well, like there's Eva, and then underneath it says L, blah, 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 something, and then there's P.
Oh, like on the banner?
Yeah, there's a P in there, so I wonder if that's like.
I think the P says Poland because you also see a D between the
Oh,
other
okay,
guy's
yeah,
head.
Poland. Okay, I wasn't sure because like, I
So
was
it probably
like,
says
I
something
figured
in
it would have been
Polish.
like in Polish because isn't it like Polska in Poland? Something.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
I'm not.
I feel
entirely
like
sure.
it. I want to say it's Polska. Anyway, sorry.
You're probably not wrong. Honestly, I don't know. Shenanigans, from t-shirts to ship spinning. Every group has its own flair, and Kitchen Sinkhole is no exception. To celebrate their 5th anniversary in game, they're inviting players far and wide to their home wormhole for an unforgettable party. Starting around 1400 UTC, they will go live on Twitch with the route to their wormhole J160941, where the celebration will go down. It says Public Astro House plus Market plus Open Bar, entrances near Jita, Astro Defense plus prizes, small gang PvP all day, Pathfinder live stream, scavenger hunt, Avalanche Pinata. DJs and music, 1 day only, no pod kills.
Open bar, dude.
Just about $500 mystery bounty. Just About is all about recognizing and rewarding the amazing stories and content created by you, the EVE Online community. Whether you're looking to share your knowledge by crafting guides, designing ship fits, or writing thrilling battle reports, there's an opportunity for you to share your work and earn rewards in the process. They've just announced their biggest bounty yet, open for all for $500. If you don't want to get involved directly, you can watch the journey unfold over on Just About and learn about some Capsuleer stories along the way. I don't know if you guys remember that. I think they dropped it sometime back during COVID. It was some venture capital company that was, it was almost sounded like Fiverr for making media about games and stuff. Do y'all remember this at all?
Mm-mm. Like a Temu.
So I guess I haven't heard about them in a while,
Oh,
but
Temu
apparently they
makes
put out
stuff.
a big bounty for, putting out some sort of video
Oh no,
or some sort of media.
where that first came out, Azeroth was Vegas 2021. Because I remember
Possibly. I
there,
just remember us talking about it a while back.
yeah, that's they were like passing out cards for us to like with all the information about it at the dinner and some of the other events that week.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it a year or two ago, probably about 2 years ago or so. Some company called Just About, and how nobody could quite tell where all the money comes from. People assumed it was like some sort of marketing and advertising budgets, which probably is, who knows.
Wait, where's
But
this?
it was like a service where you would, could write up blogs or make videos or X, Y, or Z and, make a little money, like making content around games.
Swamp Fest.
What are you talking about?
I just saw Swamp Fest. Well, the Kitchen
What does
Sinkhole.
that mean?
Yeah, I was like, where's the swamp? This New Orleans.
Open bar, dude.
Open bar, dude.
Lastly, there's a mass test on Singularity on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024.
You gotta have a
So
nice
that'll be
video
this
card for it though,
upcoming
because it's on ray tracing.
Ah,
You gotta have like
Yeah,
ray tracing set up
solutions on-
high and all kinds of stuff. So
looks like a lot of graphical stuff that they're
yeah,
trying
it's
to
it's
knock
a
out.
it's
Oh.
new. Oh shit! What have I done?
The perfect playtest for me then. I'm too bad I'm at work.
These things happen.
Yeah, what was it?
I don't- Can
Well,
all
it wasn't
new
just
cards do ray tracing? I really don't know much about ray tracing. I
Well,
haven't
it doesn't
really
have to
played
be
around
like
with it.
brand. Yeah, I think all new ones will, and I think when did they start doing ray? Was that in the 3000 series for Nvidia?
20
2000.
is the
2000 series.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like I mean, if you don't have an old ass card like I do, you can do ray tracing. But also it's like upscaling. So they're doing upscaling testing and then GPU driven pipeline.
I saw some mention of
What
like
that
the
is.
shadow thing from the last playtest where they were trying to do shadows. for,
Well,
like,
that's
every
it's the ray trace
action.
shadows. Yeah, so that's what
Okay,
they're doing
yeah,
with this one. Yeah, so it's not as much ray tracing light. Well, it's lighting, but it's shadow ray tracing. And then here's other improvements. So basically, I mean, you could go to the test regardless of your GPU, but if you don't have a GPU that can do the ray tracing and some of their stuff, it's like that's kind of what they're looking for.
Oh, fair. So I think that's about all that we had from official CCP source.
That's the news.
That was their feed.
That's it. We're done. Bye.
now you know.
Equinox continues on as alliances try to figure out what the fuck they're doing.
I'm very
Obviously.
happy other people get to figure that out and not me.
I mean, I feel the same. I've dabbled in it, and I'm like, oh, this is a lot more
I'm just printing ISK off of
pondering than I was
making
doing.
I'm just making ISK off of printing VPCs.
Yeah,
I've
there's.
done okay so far.
I mean, I probably can't say a lot because probably a lot of OPSEC stuff, but I know there's been various testing.
We know Timber.
At least on our end, I know there's been various testing of the newer systems. How does this work? What's the yields of this? And so it's everyone's still figuring out the numbers because like you can't crunch everything on paper, so they're looking at like realistic yields and outputs and what's worth putting what in certain systems, stuff like that. So it's
Not even worth, but possible.
well, possible, but yeah, also just
Worth is remains to be seen.
people-
Possible is the big consideration right now.
yeah, they're also just kind of like there's a lot of testing. Like, they're wanting to min max, and so they're
Well, of course. And,
looking
and
at,
we'll
they're still testing and working on like what is the best min max. So it's trial and error and stuff. So
I mean, I think a lot of it's going to be to what is possible. So like people who are like, oh, we'll just convert over to the new SOV and we'll just keep trucking. And it's like, no, that's not at all how it's going to be.
yeah, you don't
gotta
want to just
work
like
within
throw a
the
new
puzzle
solve
piece.
everywhere.
It's damn near like if you think about SOV as fitting space. You have like CPU,
Yeah.
power grid,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like
capacitor,
it's
for
worth
example.
it in
It's
some
got
places and
currencies in
not
such a
worth it
way.
in others. And
It'll be interesting to see how this forces some of the spreading out that we've seen in the past.
The downside is that we won't see it very quickly.
Yes.
The expansion's been out 2-ish weeks, maybe 3 weeks? I don't know. It was early
Well,
June, I
depends on
think.
which stage we're talking about. Really.
Sure, but I mean, Equinox dropped, I think, what, June 6th or so?
I
Something like
thought it
that.
was the 11th.
10th or 11th.
That
No,
might be
12th.
somewhere
Wasn't it? Was it 12th on a Tuesday? I thought.
That's probably true.
Let me look at the calendar. Oh fuck, the cameras are probably fucked. My bad.
Yeah, there's.
Oh man, dude. Either
It was
OBS,
the 11th.
either
The
OBS or
11th
Discord. I think it's OBS. OBS had an update, and ever since then, I was in this like nice spot where I didn't have to worry about where the fuck my OBS or my Discord camera window
I just
was.
checked and it was the 11th.
Okay.
You should write them a letter, dude.
Hey, what's up, Mace?
You should let them know that they had it fixed and then they fucked you.
Yeah, what's up? Question Jeffy Poodiddles. We could try and answer it. Honestly, Akroth and
Hey, Mace.
oh, hold on.
Hey, guys.
Akroth and Skyhawk know probably a lot more than I do.
Depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah, so
Talking about some skill bundle thing. I probably
but I
can.
would. You bought the 1x skill injector bundle for the account off the Eve store. There's all these other bundles for skill extractors.
Let me take a look at what's up there right now.
Oh, okay. So I guess my question is: are you a little bit new to the game, Jeffy? Do you know? I was just saying, do you know the difference between skill injectors and extractors? Okay, so he's doing. So the injector, that's a good thing for you to buy if you want skill points, because the injector you use it and you get skill points. Yeah, one's a boost of skill points. An extractor is you're gonna suck the skill points out of your head and put it into this thing that you can now sell. No, it takes XP from your character. Yeah, skills that you've already trained, you get to choose what skills it pulls it from, but it's gonna, yeah, so if you're wanting to train skills, you don't want to use an extractor. That is basically what people will do is they'll train their character up, then use the extractor to pull skills out of that character and then sell them. So
The only reason
Extract-
people
extractors are ways to make money, but if you're a new player that's wanting to train skills, you don't want to use the extractor because you're going to be pulling skills out that you probably want. An injector is going to give you skills. The extractor takes them out, basically. So
exactly what
I'm
Drade
gonna
said.
inject it into you.
All I was gonna add on to that essentially is the only types of people really that are, or the only reasons to buy skill extractors is if you want to try, if you think the price is at a point where it's worth it to you to buy them and then sell them for in-game currency, ISK, or it's people that run. Fuck that was.
you okay,
Or it's
Mace?
people that run still farms extracting.
I think Mace mic'd up when he wasn't supposed to.
Maybe. I don't know what that was.
Yeah. So I would not buy the extractors. You don't need those, but the injector was a good buy if you want skill points quick.
Also, any of the packs that have cerebral accelerators, those are usually pretty fun, but it's one of those things you want to make sure you have like
so
biology 5 trained.
When it comes to any of those like platinum packs, gold packs, anything like that, honestly, you're gonna get a mixed response on pretty much everybody. Why? Okay, there we go. I was like, why's something in the corner of my screen? Yep, we hear you.
We hear you. I wanted to real quick because I'm on the store. So for everyone else, the platinum starter pack is $100. It's $99.99 USD. And it says get the ultimate upgrade with 90 days Omega, which at full price for your main account is $60. And then 800 Plex, which is another $20, right?
30. No, because 20.
Or well, it's going to be a little bit more.
500 would be 1 month worth, but 500 costs more than a month. So $20 for a month of subscription. 500 Plex is like 24 or 25 bucks.
Okay.
So
honestly,
how much Plex?
You get 800 Plex, and I'm not even done with what you get.
It's
You
probably
also
close to $40 worth of Plex.
You also get 500k SP, 7 skins, and it says and more. Let's see if I click into it. Does it say? Oh, okay. So full contents, yeah. But wait, there's more.
Oh shit!
90 days of Omega, 800 Plex, 500k skill points, specialist boost, cerebral accelerator. You guys know I'm all about those cerebral accelerators. 2x multi-character certificates. So 2 30-day certificates, 10 skill extractors, and then you get the Golem State Police skin, the Paladin Imperial Jubilee skin, Lashak Materia Exotica skin, the Vargar Yoyul Star skin, Kronos Kail Neon skin, the Charon Vital Shift Ego skin, and the Orca Capsuleer Elite XIX skin.
Now, I love Vital Shift Ego skins, but the Charon, if you're a new player, you're not going to be finding a Charon anytime soon. But
you can sell the skins. I don't know what they're worth.
You don't have to be a new player for this pack.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I would say, Jeffy, is dollar wise, if you were to buy all that stuff individually, you're getting it cheaper at $100 than you would if you just bought it. But here
at a good margin.
Yeah, by a bit of a margin. But here's the thing. It all comes down to some people don't like that they sell that stuff. Other people will say, well, you could just get that on your own. Here's the thing. If you are fine spending $100, and here's the also if you're invested in the game and you like the game and you know you're going to want to be playing it for a while, that's probably a decent pack to buy. If you're okay spending $100 for all that stuff, go for it.
If you're not attached to your dollars and you've got a lot of them to throw around, that's a really good deal. If $100 is something you casually spend on a game like what it sounds, then like that's a really good deal.
Yeah. So he says he's rich, he's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
Well, then, if you don't care about the $100, like that's gonna give you a nice head start on things. That's gonna give you it's gonna give you 3 months of game time, and it's gonna give you Plex.
It's a great deal.
You could either use the
Plex
to remember
too. These are one-time promos. You can use each of them one time. So all of those packs, like some people who have money will be like, oh, I'll just do these little add-ons, whatever.
Yeah.
They're not like something you could just sit there and keep hitting. Like it's a good
Yeah.
deal, but it's not something you could use like every 3
Yeah,
months or something.
you get
like that.
one
They're
platinum
one-time
pack per account.
Until
So-
they come out with the new pack.
So it's
If
going to
they
give
do
you
Yeah,
game
that.
there's
time.
lots of sales and packs,
It's
but
going
I'm
to give you
just
game
saying.
time. It's going to give you Plex. You can use that Plex to buy skins if you want skins, or you can use the Plex. You can just sell the Plex. You can also use it for more game time if you just want more game time, or you can sell the Plex and get a bunch of money.
These are usually
Um,
good for farming
Yep.
accounts.
And
because-
I want to answer his
Hours.
question. So yes, when it comes to Omega game time, it always just adds on to the end of wherever your current one expires. So say you go and buy the 2-year sub 3 times on the same account, you just bought 6 years on that account.
Yeah. So if you add the 3 months of game time, it's just going to add that. So you just won't get billed for 3 more months than you normally would. Also, so you can sell the Plex. Also, and like I said, it's going to give you all those skill extractors. You don't want to use those as a new account, but you can sell them. They sell for a bit of money on the market, so you can sell the skill extractors for just more money that you can use to buy ships, buy skill books, buy whatever you need, fittings.
Anytime.
The skins are cool. So yeah, it's if you don't care about the money, it's a good deal. So I'd say go for it.
I know. I have myself wanting to reach for the credit card. for
Sometimes
that
some of
Plex
these come
pack
up on
now.
sales, and that's where it's kind of nice to get them. I don't know if this one's on a current sale, but if it
It's
is,
not.
like, that is the fun time to get them.
I'm gonna do a shot.
CCP throws out a lot of good sales, like periodically. You just gotta kind of keep an eye out.
Drayden Skyhawk. I have something to tell you
feel
both.
very rich. There are 2 women sucking me off right now. Are you on a yacht by chance, Jeffy?
I have something important to tell Drayden and Skyhawk.
Okay, what's
Oh,
up,
dear.
Mace?
So, about 2 weeks ago was my birthday, right?
Oh, happy birthday.
So,
Same.
thank you. Oh, hang on. He's got to be here. Akarakov walked off because it's
I know,
totally
sure.
ragging him. He walked off.
Rip.
So when he comes back, I will finish the story.
Wait, your birthday is dude. What day is your birthday?
June 22nd.
Oh fuck, that's a day before mine.
Are you the 23rd?
Yeah, and my younger brother's on the 22nd, so you and my younger brother have the same birthday.
It's awesome.
And-
So backstory, I had been pinging for about a month about doing a meetup in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to be over there during my birthday. So there's actually a Discord dedicated to North Carolina meetups. Also, Akaroth lives over there somewhere, and Cyan the Man lives over there.
he lives in New Orleans. Oh, did he move?
Oh, I
He
didn't know
moved.
he.
Oh,
yes.
did we just dox
missed
him?
that.
Oh shit.
He moved slightly right after NOLA 2023.
Is it
So
because
that's why he was not at NOLA 2024. He lives in
Probably
Charlotte.
because he got kicked out of the hot dog place for puking on the sidewalk. He's like, well, not worth living here anymore.
So with that,
Oh, that's where he got kicked out of.
He didn't get kicked out. He just
he didn't
oh.
get kicked out.
Oh,
He
okay.
got carried out.
he
I
was
mean,
already outside, and then his wife was like, took him home, and he got in trouble, and he wasn't allowed to hang out the rest of the meetup.
yeah, I had to carry him to the Uber. So, anyways, so I pinged all the Discords, all the meetup groups, everything was like, hey, we're going to go take over this bar, this Irish pub, etc., etc. I had a few people say they were going to come, and Akaros like he's totally going to come. Cyan totally going to come. So I get to day of. Well, y'all can just rag Akaroth when he comes. There he is. So I get to day of, and Akaroth is like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm not coming. And is a total stooge and doesn't come to the party. So it ended up being me and Cyan. That's it. Nobody in the North Carolina Discord showed up because the North Carolina meetup Discord is the worst meetup Discord I've ever seen. But yeah,
Is there even
So-
regular meetups in that area?
Why is that Discord
There's
so
supposed
bad?
I
to
waited-
be, but it
Like,
ends
bro.
up being like the same 3 guys, I think, even though there's like 40 people in that Discord.
I mean, it's
It was
kind
more
of
active a handful of years ago. I haven't seen much
A lot
activity.
of people might have it muted. There's a lot of Discords
I
I've
think
been
that's-
in.
unless people know something's coming. Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah,
aren't watching.
like there's a lot of Discords that I have muted because it's like a Discord I was in a long time, and it's like I haven't really done much in there. Like the Cruises of Eve Discord, I have that muted because it's like
that's still a
So I
Discord.
waited
the
longer to
cruise was
come
like
back.
5 years ago, and
So
I
yep,
haven't really done anything there.
Akaroth.
I waited longer
stood
to
me
hear
up.
back so I could hear myself getting talked shit about, loosely. But
Yeah, I know, because you had your headset on.
so he mentioned about a month before, he said, hey, I'm going to be coming, your neck of the woods if you're interested. And I said, hey, make sure to remind me when it gets closer, and we'll see how it goes. And he did. He reminded me maybe a week or 2 out, something like that, much
Yep.
closer. So I did appreciate that, give me enough heads up that I could, figure out what I'm going to do. Still thinking, yeah, probably. But then I looked it up, and where he was going was going to be 3 hours away from me.
Which is exactly
And so I was like,
how far Cyan drove for me.
which is perfectly fine. So I don't know what his life situation is, but I keep my dog in a crate when I'm not in the house, which meant that I was going to go 3 hours out of town and either stay the night out of town or not drink much and come back in town, which would have been
That's what
difficult for me
Cyan
to do it, and admittedly.
He
And so when
ended
it got
up-
close, I opted not to do it because I didn't think I was going to
Yep.
be disciplined myself.
Yeah,
And
Cyan-
honestly,
Cyan is sure.
I get you too there, Akroth. Like I had an opportunity this past weekend to get a puppy when I was back in Iowa. And the reason I decided to not bring a dog home was because I was like, I realized with some of the things that I like to do, how much I would need to leave them in a crate. And I'm like, I can't do that. I'd feel bad.
It's a lot, yeah.
I mean, I just had to rag you. I knew your reasoning behind it, but I just want to give you a hard time.
Initially, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, and then when I did look, I was like, maybe. And I remember we talked about it because I was like, are you staying somewhere? Or should I think I would probably have to plan to do a hotel or something. And then I'm like, well, I leave out here sometime reasonable to get there within 3 hours to like not be midnight or 2 a.m. or something, like already
Yeah.
be into something. And then I'm gonna get drunk, and then I'm gonna stay until I wake up from being drunk and come back home. And I was like, there's a good potential I'm gone for like 15 hours or so, and like I would feel really bad. Like I wouldn't have a contingency in place.
Yeah,
for that.
Cyan, we stayed out to right around midnight. He only drank one drink. And then he was like, well, you good? And I'm like, yeah, I can make it home, which wasn't far. And he's like, well, I think I'm just going to, I thought he was just going to go like camp in the woods somewhere because he's like outdoorsman. But then the next day he was like, yeah, I just drove home. I got home at like 4.
See, and that's my thing is like, don't get me wrong, like I would have liked to come if I had a little bit easier of a contingency, because if I'm gonna drive 3 hours, I'm not gonna have a beer or two, because I kicked that around. I was like, can I be disciplined enough? And I was like, well, that's gonna really suck to like go and hang out and then just like try to stay sober. I was like, I'm not.
Well, see, the
that.
place we went to, we got there at like 7, started drinking. There was nobody there, man. There was like hardly, maybe 10 people. And then I was like, well, this place is like chill for a Saturday night. We was talking to the bartender, and around 9 o'clock, she was like, heck yeah, it's time to party. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, after 9 o'clock, everybody gets here. And then there was this like 80-year-old lady. I went to the bathroom. I come back. There's this 80-year-old lady hitting on Cyan, like hardcore. And like I'm just kind of standing next to him, and she's just going at like telling like life story and like flirting with him and stuff. And he just looks at me and he's like, "Help me." So I'm like, "Hey, dude, let's go out to your truck real quick, and like you can show me your kayak." And he's like, "All right."
Is that
So
what
we
the kids
just-
are calling it these days?
Right. So we walk outside, and they have an outside sitting area, and like the place is slammed full of people. And I'm like, oh my goodness, when did all these people get here? So we just ended up sitting outside for like 3.5 hours in the hot, humid North Carolina weather, but had a great time and enjoyed the scenery of things walking by from time to time.
Well, there you go. I'm certainly glad you had a good time. I apologize for not making
Oh, it's
a
fine.
larger
It's
effort
fine.
to be there.
It's good. I just wanted to give you a hard time about it.
If you come to my town next time, I will make a bigger effort.
Are you closer to Tennessee?
So I'm on the west side of Charlotte.
West side of Charlotte. So you're
Charlotte's
closer
So
to
closer to
the.
Tennessee than Fayetteville, yes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
west. Sorry.
I thought Charlotte
I
was
always talk
closer to
about
the
the east.
coast.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do too doxy, but yeah. I've spoken plenty about
I go to
whereabouts I
I
am.
go to Cherokee from time to time, but that's about as far
I
over
couldn't
as
tell
I
you
go.
where that is. It sounds
Yeah.
way closer to Tennessee than not.
It's like 2 hours away. But Cyan wants me to come over at some point and spend the night. He wants to touch me. So
Touch
we
it, touch it, touch it, touch me.
Baby Metal is doing a concert in Charlotte in November, and I kind of want to go to it.
Oh,
I probably will not do that.
Charlotte is
I
nowhere.
don't know what that is, but I don't like the sound of it.
Charlotte's nowhere near where I thought it was.
Like an Asian heavy metal, Asian girl heavy metal group.
Yeah, I'll probably pass.
I'll be right back.
I always like. I hear Charlotte, and I think it's like on the coast, like Charleston in South
Nah, it's
Carolina.
way out in the middle. Dude, this is
Yeah.
like a wide ass state,
Yeah.
which I didn't
Yeah, you all
didn't
are.
necessarily realize because I don't
Yep.
get around much.
Y'all
See-
are wide, and Illinois is fucking tall.
So I'm
State is
originally
thick.
from Texas, which is wide in every direction, but like it's weird to be in another state where it's like, well, it's comparably wide in one direction. Like I had somebody tell me it was about 12 hours across. I don't think that's quite true, but it's pretty wide.
Redeem Q Jeffy is when you log in. If you're on character selection screen, it's either in the bottom, you can drag stuff onto a character you want, or you log into a character, and on the bottom left of your little left toolbar, it's called the Neocom. There should be, it'll probably be like flashing with like new stuff. It's like the item redemption queue thing or whatever. You click on that, and you can just like redeem to current station that you're in, or redeem to your home station, which is wherever you have your home set to. It might take a little bit, but it should be there. It probably has to process your order, so if there's like a processing time, but usually it's not that long.
Akaroth, I intentionally
Akaroth.
picked the widest like part of your state to go across.
It's been on the same account that you bought stuff on.
560 miles going across US 64 west and I-40, 8 hours 54 minutes.
These fucking liars.
You can't redeem out of game.
Not even 9 hours.
Oh, I guess you have to kind of log into the account, but
I've driven,
I've
13 hours across Texas.
Oh, I've been a passenger in a car through your state before. I still maintain the most fucking boring state that I've driven through is going through eastern Illinois, where you just along the interstate you don't pass through like any actual cities. It's just all tiny towns and just flat farmland for fucking miles. Like it's worse than Nebraska in my opinion.
I think the only East Coast state I've been in is Florida.
Florida is, let's be real, Florida is a Midwestern state masquerading as an East Coast.
But I mean, it's
state.
on the Atlantic, and I was
I
only
know.
there.
I'm saying that because of the people
I
there.
I was taking a cruise, and so I spent the night in Miami, and that's about it. So I don't know if that really counts. But I mean, I've been in Miami, but I didn't like really walk around and go see Miami. I like literally flew in. It was like 10 p.m. Went to the hotel, slept, woke up in the morning, and went to the docks. Got on the boat, and then when the boat was over, like literally left from the docks to the airport, flew back. So I don't really count that as like seeing Miami.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, though, that like more than counts for you saying you've visited Florida, like in your list of states you visited. Like for the New Orleans trip, driving down Missouri, Arkansas, and Alabama, and yeah, those three and Arkansas. If I didn't mention that,
You said that first.
Oh, those states. I'm really high and also
That's fine.
drinks. All I did in those states was drive through, stop at some point and take a piss, and then get back in my car. I count that as visiting those states. I've seen a rest stop. I've visited.
I've been to, my grandparents lived in Arkansas for like a year, and my family visited them, and so I spent like 5 days in Arkansas. That state, I don't know if it was just the time of year. That state, like people talk about humidity in Florida. My time in Miami, it didn't seem that humid. People talk about humidity in Louisiana. I've been in New Orleans twice for a week each time. It was humid, but not that bad. Like Arkansas was fucking. It felt like
The Midwest is brutal.
it just. Well, Arkansas specifically, I don't. It was like northeast of Little Rock, like 50 miles or wherever. But it felt like
Was it a lot of farmland around there?
I
The
forget
reason
what
I-
town it was called. It was like 15 years ago. My grandparents
The-
had lived
the-
forever, but it
Arkansas
was. I
is
don't know.
bullshit.
Well,
I'm
the
just
reason
gonna
I
say it.
Kansas.
the reason I bring that up though is like an acre of corn or soybeans will put off more moisture back into the air than an acre of like water,
Oh,
like
I
on
don't
a
know.
lake or a stream.
They were in a town. I don't know if there was like really that much farmland around, but it wasn't like swamp, but there was like just a lot of like tall grass and fucking trees. Not like a pine forest, but
Fucking trees.
it was just
A
going
lot of
outside.
fucking nature, and I hated it.
I want to say it was August, which was probably really bad, but yeah, it's like turn your shower on max heat, close the door, and then like wait 10 minutes and walk in the bathroom. That's what it fucking felt like outside. And it was only 70 degrees outside. It was just fucking, it was like, just, you're like sweating, and like, doesn't matter how much you like wipe your like forehead on your sleeve. Like, it's like the second it comes off, it's like, just, that was miserable. I was like, I don't envy anybody that lives in that state. I mean, not really.
too don't
Not even.
envy
Not just because of the
people in
weather. Like,
Arkansas.
I don't know if Arkansas. I don't know. Ugh, Arkansas.
Yeah, ugh.
But the weather was bad too.
I've been there a few times. There's plenty of pretty places in Arkansas.
It didn't look bad.
When I was a kid, I visited there a few times, like at least once visiting some distant family, and it was a weird, like not great experience. I've been there for work as well. It was fine, whatever I was working. But there's definitely some pretty stuff there, but it's nothing to write home about. That's a pretty forgettable state.
What's forgettable?
Arkansas.
Hey, first of all,
It's pretty to fly over.
let me tell you about Arkansas. You might not think much of it, but there's a lot of cool stuff there.
I believe you. The
you
world's
can-
only public diamond mine exists in Arkansas.
Exactly that. You can also
Which
go
I wanna
quartz
go to.
mining, which is amazing if you've never been.
You could do that in a
I've-
lot of places.
Isn't that where Lake of the Ozarks is? Or is that in Missouri?
I'm not sure on that one. But yes, you
Hmm.
can go you can go quartz mining, but
Quartz
This-
mining is pretty common. Diamond mining is not, but it's not
No,
really a
no.
mine, it's a field. But still,
a
it's the only public diamond mine in the world.
and I mean the
And I
fine
wanna go.
diamond chance is they usually find about 1 diamond a day.
Not fine diamonds, but yes, they find diamonds all
diamond,
throughout the
A
year.
diamond.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like a 45-acre field that they like
Yeah,
till
yeah.
up, and it's on top of a friggin' like a thermal fissure or something. So
Yeah,
like
they said the
usually
best
after
time
it
to go
rains,
is after it
Yeah.
rains or after
and
they
then
plow.
like till up the earth. And you just sit there and apparently you sift through the dirt and put it through screens and shit.
So
I'm gonna
me
do
and
it
my
one day.
wife
I'm
and
gonna go
kids
camping.
went to Hot Springs, Arkansas,
Even after you saw Dante's Peak.
right? I didn't go in the hot springs. I wanted to. We're going to go back there at some point because we want to go quartz mining again. We were going to go down to the diamond mine, but we had kids with us, and kids going through dirt and not finding anything for hours is not really entertaining for kids.
That's why you seed it.
Stock side or dinosaur bones.
Eat it with diamonds.
No, not with diamonds. They don't know what a diamond is. You could just sprinkle friggin' rocks from like a road
Shiny
stop.
rocks.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
put some
So-
rhinstones in there.
I
I
used to
sense a
love to
lack
go
of
to the Renaissance
creativity here.
Festival, and there was things that it's just dirt, and you find rocks within it. They seed it. They put them in there for the kids to do, and it's a lot of fun.
But
You sit
anyway,
there and sift through fucking dirt, and you find quartzes and just bullshit rocks. You could do it with like $10 worth of rocks.
That's what they did with me on that cruise.
So we went-
Oh,
we
sorry,
went
go
to the
ahead.
quartz thing and like we found some, big quartz, chunks, nothing special. But like as we were leaving, I was showing my kid this one this huge rock that I moved up out of the way, and I kind of dug behind it for a minute, and then I went on. Well, he walks over and he kind of shifts through the dirt, and he finds this perfectly clear. It's tiny. It's probably only like 2 inches, but this perfectly clear. It looks perfectly cut quartz crystal, like a 6-sided quartz crystal. So that was worth the trip, and
Nice.
it was only like 10, $20 each. I think
Yeah.
it's cheaper for the kids.
I mean, I'm into rocks. I went to Chattanooga as a kid. We did a family
Yep.
reunion there.
Chattanooga, right down the road.
Rock City.
Yep. Believe it or not, I've never been there. I've been to Ruby Falls, which is on the same mountain, but I've never been to Rock City.
I don't know anything about Ruby Falls, but we did a family reunion at Rock City when I was like 8-ish, 10-ish, and you walk through a bunch of caverns that have big old quartzes and crystals. And
All right,
shit
so
sticking
you
out
went
the
to Ruby
walls,
Falls. That's not Rock
and
City.
it was cool as fuck. No, it was Rock City. I promise you.
No, I promise. If you go in a cave, you're in Ruby Falls.
I mean, the trails is through caverns and stuff, but it's at the Rock City
But
whatever
did you go
the
down in the elevator
the
into a
tourist
cave?
thing. I don't think there was an elevator involved. No, we
Okay,
were just
never
walking.
mind then.
Thanks for the sub, Seema. I hope that's true.
I think we ate
I
lunch
feel
in the
like
train car.
I feel like it's not though.
It might be a SEMA-ism.
I think it's a Seema.
Really,
I think it's a Seema post.
And I really want to standardize
I
this.
see your quartz is as big as
Seema-ism.
mine.
God, I
Wanna-
love
That's
rock.
funny. We just got
I have a
back
display
just a
case that
couple
I'm
of
gonna
weeks
put up.
ago from a rock and mineral show.
I'm gonna put up in my spare room when I get that room cleaned out more. We had leftover display cases from trade shows at work, and I was like, one of the other coworkers was like, "Hey, are you guys do anything with these?" And they're like, "We probably won't ever do anything with these." So we got them for $50 each. They're just glass, whatever, hexagonal display cases that I'm gonna put a bunch of quartzes and shit in and shine some lights on, and other collectible shit.
All right, dudes. I'm gonna go make ramen. I will talk to y'all later.
Oh, yeah.
Be safe, buddy.
Later. Oh, I want ramen now.
Same.
It would be nice.
All I got is mac and cheese and a frozen pizza.
Last night I made some mac and cheese, and I did the whole open a third box and add the powder to the powder from the first 2 boxes. And we used 2 boxes of noodles. It's like
So what are you gonna do for that one? Or did you just throw it out?
I threw it away like a terrible
He's
first
notorious.
world
Yeah, he's
fucking
notorious.
terrible.
He's like, I just throw the noodles away and use the cheese. It's like,
Extra cheesy.
just put some real cheese in it.
I mean, I did that.
Thank you,
too.
Drayden. Thank you for
no,
saying
that.
I did that
Because-
too.
I don't get it.
Skyhawk needs a cheese intervention.
No.
When
you
people
are- you are-
happily
no,
take lesser grade products than better grade products, I don't get it.
Thumb's fighting words, Drayden, because cheese is my favorite food.
Powdered cheese is not cheese.
It
I mean-
is freeze-dried cheese with flour and.
If you consider government cheese and Velveeta to be cheese, then sure,
It's
it's
like
in
the
the
whole
name.
argument about American cheese. American cheese
Hey,
is real
no.
cheese.
American
Actually,
cheese is bullshit.
I
American
was
cheese
not
is real
using.
cheese.
I was not using Kraft mac and cheese either. I was using nice, more natural, healthy.
Yeah. American
macaroni
cheese is real cheese with an emulsifier in water.
It's horseshit.
Also, I'm not one
This
of those
glass is
silly
empty.
people. Sorry if
Bullshit.
you guys are, but I'm not one of those people that buys shredded cheese either. I shred my own cheese. Thank you very much.
I
can do whatever you
know
want.
they put the coating on it so it doesn't go
That's
bad
it.
as much, but it's such a pain in the ass to shred cheese every fucking time.
Well, so that's why
And also,
I got.
if you shred real cheese, it starts going bad faster, and if you don't use it all quick enough,
I
you're
mean-
throwing half of it away.
I'm sorry that cheese isn't enough of your diet. That's a problem for you. Because I don't have that problem. I've got a little. I think it's it holds a cup of shredded cheese, and I literally pop the cheese. It's an OXO cheese grater. Pop the cheese grater on top of this little Tupperware thing, grate away till it's full. Put the lid on it, stick it in the fridge, and 4 or 5 days, no problem. and the cheese never lasts long enough to go bad. But I also, have like scrambled eggs with cheese at least every other day, and like other tasty
I
things. where
use
just go through
cheese.
it.
I love cheese. I use cheese in a lot of things, but I don't always cook all the time. I'm one of those people. I'm single, so like I will cook a meal and then I will eat leftovers of that meal for like the next 2 days,
Yeah.
and then I will
Yeah.
like go a day or two of not cooking anything and just like
Right.
eating bullshit. And so it's
See-
like I will use some
It's tough.
cheese like once, maybe twice a week, and there's no way I will go through like all. If I buy a whole block of cheese, half of that shit is getting thrown in the garbage because it's gonna start molding.
Just eat it as cheese one
So
day, just as a snack.
I've
just
done
start
that with
biting
like
and eating
mozzarella
cheese.
because I'm like, why buy cheese sticks when I can just like
Oh, I'll do
peel
it
off a
with
big
any
old
cheese.
chunk of mozzarella and just like, but
So
think I won't
Brayden,
just
I
face
am
first
that
cheese?
exact. Like I buy a 2-pound block of
tea
cheese,
maker.
and that will stay good in the fridge over a month before it molds, like a block of cheddar. As long as like storing it properly, like it, I don't know, and I can go through that 2-pound inside of a month, no problem.
I put cheese in my fridge, and if once I've opened that brick of cheese, if it's been like 2 weeks, it'll start molding, even if it's in my fridge and packaged, like sealed in a bag.
I don't know what you're buying. That I don't know. I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I don't know it. But that's why I buy the pre-shredded cheese a lot of times, just because like, I know it has like the preservative
Just-
coating, which it
I
doesn't.
don't like the flavor.
I don't notice the difference in the flavor. I just know
Yeah, I
that it
can't
doesn't
tell.
melt as well because it has the like coating on it that keeps it from going bad as fast. But I'm like so if I do buy a brick of cheese, I buy like the small, like little, like 1 inch by like 5 inch by 2 inch, like little rectangles, because I'm like that I will
By
use
4.
before it goes bad. I'm not gonna buy the big bricks of cheese because I'm like half that shit's going to the garbage. So why spend the money on it?
Yeah, see, and I'm rather at the point where in my fridge, there's most of the time an open 2-pound bag in a freezer bag in the fridge, and then a 2-pound block that hasn't been opened yet. And that 2-pound block that hasn't been opened yet, as soon as it gets open because the other one ran out, that gets added to my shopping list for the next time I'm at the store. Like
I
I always have I have a backstop of cheese.
I would never go through that. I would say I go through like 4 to 6 ounces of cheese a week tops.
Cheese is my favorite food, hands down, and I put it in more things than I should.
I like cheese and noodles. Those are my 2 favorite things.
Although
I
I'm
just
also,
don't cook, so this isn't a huge issue. I buy sliced cheese, and I put it with like brats.
okay, all right. So
And I usually
question
go through a
here,
packed
and
about
and
once a week.
Onions.
question for you then, Akaroth, and I don't worry, I will judge you based on your response. Are you buying cheese that's like the pre-sliced stuff in packages, or are you going to the deli counter?
Packages,
Nope, just a
like
Sargento. I think there's 11
Sargento
slices in
or
a pack.
like Tillamook or Great
Go
Value.
to the-
I
go
buy
to the
my
deli-
12 brats.
The deli
12
costs way
buns.
more.
On the last day, I use the cheese a little
save
less.
going to the deli counter.
I've gone to the deli.
So I have a
I'll get
bullshit
like a
grocery
pound of
nearby,
like
and
if I'm like
it's
doing
not
like French
good.
tips, I'll get like half a pound of what do you call that? Provolone. And it costs like 1.5 to twice as much as a package of provolone that gives you actually more weight of cheese than what you would get. It's like the deli it's like it's better cheese, but it costs way more. So I'm just like, fucking provolone's provolone. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I will just get the fucking Great Value provolone. Fuck it. Just put that on my French tips.
Oh God, Walmart brand.
Hell
I
yeah.
have not set foot inside a Walmart since pre-pandemic.
I usually there's
I
a
usually
there's
do
a
pretty well
grocery
for
store here
my
called
business.
Super One. I usually go to because they have a better meat section. So I would rather get the meats from there and stuff. So if I'm getting like meat or vet, and also Walmart's fucking produce is garbage.
Yeah.
Their produce section, it's like you get like wilted fucking green onions or whatever. So if I'm getting produce and meats, I will definitely go to Super One. But if I'm just like, oh, I need like a package of I need a box of like pasta. Well, it doesn't
If
matter
you're
if I
not-
buy it from Super One or Walmart. It's gonna be the same fucking. It's the Barilla pasta or whatever. It's like they both have the same thing. It's the exact same,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. So prepackaged things like that, I'll go to Walmart a lot of times. But if it's like meat or produce, I don't want to go to Walmart. I'll go to.
I
My
do
other
all of
grocery
my
store.
shopping anymore, unless it's like clothes at 3 places. Clothes or shoes are the only things where I'll go outside of this. I go to Meijer, which if you're not from the Midwest, they're actually like they created the concept of the supermarket. They were the first company to do it. But just your typical supermarket. And then Costco and Amazon. Those are just the 3 places I shop anymore.
Amazon is awful, and you might as well be going to Walmart.
That's so convenient though.
Okay. And a lot of people thought that
Uh,
about Walmart for many years.
I
As they
know.
killed off all the other businesses. To each their own.
I'm back.
I've successfully lived without Amazon for years.
That's where like I get most of my cleaning supplies from because I will just buy it in bulk from them, and I've struggled to find a place around here that like I would buy the stuff that I like in bulk. Because like the way that I look at it is, why buy like fucking spray bottle of 409 when I can just buy like a big ass jug of it and refill a bottle and save a
But
bunch
then
of
you
money.
said Costco. Why not just get that stuff at Costco?
They don't actually sell like a good one there.
You
Like
should write a letter.
which
Because
surprised me.
Costco is pretty
Some
consumer
some stuff in bulk for cleaning stuff is easy to find there, and other things it's just not so much.
That's fair.
It's getting close to when I turn into a pumpkin though.
Yeah, we're 3 minutes before we would have to say we didn't do a good job. So I think we can keep it going.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 minutes. Easy money. So the problem with Caldari is that they're assholes. Every last one of them.
Yes.
You know what I mean,
Who are we
Drake?
talking about? Who are we talking about?
Oh, I was talking about how Caldari are assholes.
I don't know.
Lente is the master race.
Do you have nothing to offer him for that? Drake? I think Drayden might be a Caldari sympathizer.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a Caldari. I'm Caldari. All the way.
Oh, that's rough.
Power to the oligarchy.
Power to the state. Awful. Just awful stuff all the way around. How's it going, Millet? Nah, I think we were probably just winding down there. I was doing some cheap shots at Caldari because how could you not? Drayden has stepped away and apparently he's Caldari. So
No,
it was
I'm
an easy target.
sorry. I'm typing. What are you talking about?
No, I was saying you stepped away a moment ago when we first started talking shit
Oh,
about
yeah,
Caldari.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
it
I
was
was-
an easy
Yeah.
target. You came back and you lightly defended by saying you were one of them.
Oh
which
yeah,
just
yeah.
makes everybody think
more
we're
power to
thoughtful.
more power to the corporations. That's what we need.
Sounds right. Checks out.
What's the food one in Caldari? They should have all the power.
Ratigu, Sidious.
Space Gator and the Caldari are assholes by proxy because they allied with the Amarians.
That's right. Amarians can be assholes as well.
Well, I mean they are
Slavery, not cool.
they are objectively the
Theocracy,
most racist
not cool.
motherfuckers in the game.
Yeah, I think so.
Like their whole idea initially when like Amar was going out into space before they discovered all the other races was like, oh, all of this is given to us by God and it is our right to go out. And then they discovered other nations and ended up at war. And they're like, oh, we're not alone. Oops. Someone
It's
objects
tough
to us
out there.
taking this.
Hey, we went past 2 hours. Off the hook.
I actually am going to dip out for the night. I have to work tomorrow, sadly.
I'm going to finish up my my auction moon real quick, which I've been working on quietly.
Auction.
About 30 minutes.
Auction. Anyways, have a good night, friends.
Yep, say good.
Nice guy. Yeah, I'm mining one of my moon.
You're mining a moon?
I'm trying to finish up on a moon.
What system is this in?
You're in my coalition.
Hmm.
Run a locator.
I've never used a locator agent. I don't even know how to do them.
I've not used many, and I paid a service about 3-ish months ago that like maxes out your standings in X, Y, or Z way, however you want it for whoever you want. And it was a bunch of money, but I think I've talked about this on the show, but like I picked like the best package I could find, or like all the different options. I just chose all the options. So I spent a bunch of money, but it did open me up for a bunch of locator agents, but I still didn't know where to find them or what to do with them or whatever. So like I had to do a little bit of trial and error still. It's I'd done it way back in the day, just back when I was like earlier in EVE and like actually interactive with agents more. But yeah. It was weird to try to like run my my market alt over and like try to find who I could do it with on a whim.
I don't even, where are the locators? Are they like in certain systems, or you can just?
They're all over the place.
Oh fuck!
Like not everywhere, but like all over the place, all over Hyde.
To run a locator on
And I couldn't even tell you how to find them. I think there's probably an agency filter for it, but I don't know. Maybe
should
someone
run
in the chat knows things.
should run a locator on my CEO.
Sure. Is your CEO AWOL?
Yep.
That sucks.
Apparently,
It sounds par for the course for PL.
Enemy groups in the past, he doesn't even play the game.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. This guy doesn't even play the game. It's like, he leads like 1 to 2 fleets every day. I don't know.
Headliner, your CEO.
Yeah, headline. Well, not my
Yeah.
corp CEO, but my alliance CEO. And it's like, I don't know where you've been, but dude is probably putting in about 8 hours in this game almost daily and running about 7 to 10 fleets a week. So I don't know where that's coming from, but sure, go off. Yeah, Space Game. Like, I don't even know if I would say Galente and Mimitar are the good guys. I feel like they're just not as bad of dudes as Kaldari and Namar. Kaldari and Namar are both pretty oppressive. Mimitar and Galente are less so, but yeah, I mean, like they can both. I feel like Galente, it's almost, it's I mean, I don't know if it's like America, but it's like this whole freedom and democracy, but tons of corruption in the place. And Mimitar, it's probably similar. So I just think Kaldari and Amar are just outwardly just, kind of the oppressive group, and they don't really care if anyone else knows it because they can get away with it. So they're visibly they're the worst groups and visibly kind of the bad guys, but I don't know if that really makes Mimitar or Galente the good guys. They're just the least bad guys.
That sounds about right.
It's like Warhammer. It's like the Space Marines and the Imperium, they're not good guys. They're just not as bad as, the Tyranids or the Necrons or Chaos. They're just the least bad. Maybe, although I don't know. I know a lot of people. Holy shit, are we gonna get on a 40K topic? Because that'd be fun.
I don't know, man.
It's like this might trigger a bunch of people if they're into 40K, but it's like I honestly, maybe the least bad might be the Tau. I know. Honestly, I think the Tau might be the least bad. But then you gotta be a Tau supporter. Gross. I don't know the Uli story. I actually don't. That's the funny thing. Like, most games I play, 99% of the games I play, I'm super invested in the lore. Really into, and like, I will go out of my way to like just learn. I'll go on like Wikipedia pages and fandom pages and just read tons of lore. When it comes to Eve, I really don't know that much. I know some like very basic, generic main points, but not a whole lot. Did I say what's up, AWOL? Did I say AWOL? No, I said Tau. I do like Clear Skies. I know the lore of that whole series. Speaking of which, is Clear Skies 4?
Eve has a,
Is he still working on that?
I think so. I see Kickstarter updates every like once in a blue moon.
Was it
Maybe.
Ian Chisholm or whatever his name is?
I believe so.
Still in development. Okay, I knew he ran the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter was successful, and the fact that he was doing it in a much higher level of CGI type of thing as opposed to just Gmod means that it was going to take a lot of time. Yeah, I can see COVID setting him back too.
I remember seeing some
But I
voice
wasn't
acting
sure if
things
that-
maybe during COVID.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was still in the works because I know that was what 2 or 3, probably 3 years ago that was being mentioned, or maybe more. And so I wasn't sure if that was still in the works or if he had just kind of given up on it. Oh, you're the okay. The last time I saw it was like when they did the whole. It was I think a few years ago where they did the watch party of all the Clear Skies. That was a fun event that CCP did. So they had it was Convict and Ian Chisholm. And is this name Ian? I know it's Chisholm. I think it's Ian, right? I hope so.
I think so.
Okay, I was like, I hope I'm not fucking that up. But so it was him and Convict, and they just did like a watch party of all 3 movies back to back, and it was
nice.
that was fun. That was, and it was almost like I want to say like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but in chat, like everyone was doing the things
Yeah,
where
I
it's
know
like,
what you
oh, the wingy bits and all the like iconic lines. Everyone was just it was just kind of it was like a group. I've watched them by myself and they were great, and then but that was actually more fun to watch them again with everyone there and everyone had seen them, and it was just all the comments in the chat. It was very fun, made it very fun to watch. So
Right. I could see it. I like the association to Rocky Horror because like that makes sense, and that kind of like in a nerd
yeah,
fandom.
there's like this cult kind of following where everyone
Right.
just. I've never watched Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I know that there's a whole thing like people throw spoons at certain parts, and it's like
Damn it, Janet.
there's like a whole just when they show those in like independent theaters, there's like a whole
Yeah, there's a
whole process and stuff
choreography
that
to it
everyone
all,
just
almost.
does. Yeah.
I've never done it at a theater, but I've seen it like multiple times.
I'd be
just
tempted to
in
like
my
just
home.
go to one of those and just fuck everything up and just be that one guy that doesn't know anything. Everyone starts throwing spoons. I,
there's
just throw
lots of
like
people that don't
I just
know
throw like
anything,
a fucking baguette up on the stage or something.
but-
And be
just breading them
be-
throughout the show.
Just like what the? Why'd someone throw bread? It's like.
And how did they bring so much? Yeah, you could have a good time with it.
I don't know of anything around here that does that. Although, it's like fandom events or something like that. Man, that was a thing that did like the whole Lord of the Rings re-showings in the theaters. I think it's a group called Fandom Events. They bring old stuff back to movie theaters. Apparently, in a bunch of theaters, November, I forget the exact day, but in November, Fifth Element's coming back to theaters. Hell
That's
yeah.
pretty fun.
I'm going to go see that. I'm excited for that.
Nice.
and I'm going to like, and that might be one of those things that people do, and that's the thing, like movies that have had memes made of them. So like Leeloo Dallas Multipass, I'm sure that's going to be a thing that everyone. Because when I went,
I'm sure you'll see some cosplay. I don't think that one's going to be one of those that's like on a maybe
I
not
didn't-
quite on a Rocky Horror level.
I didn't
You
see
might
any.
see some because there is some elements of it, but
I didn't see any cosplay at the Lord of the Rings ones, although that could just because Spokane has no fun. But there was a lot of like meme situations where just people laughed because it's like that's a thing. It was never like that in the first showings of the movies, but after the fact, it's like the Council of Elrond, where Boromir's like, one does not simply walk into Mordor, and everyone's like, ha ha. It's like, okay, yeah. So there's
oh wow,
there's the meme.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, it's like all the meme
chuckle there.
situations. Yeah, just or like when it's like Theoden's like, you have no power here, Gandalf. And everyone just started
I
laughing.
could see like
yeah,
sword and my axe and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that
people yelling
same
it
thing.
out,
Yep.
just-
that is like everyone, all the meme situations. Everyone's just cracking up. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess I see it.
I could see that, like Leeloo Dallas Multipass and all that stuff. I don't know.
I would
like
more
Fifth Element a lot,
likely
though.
see them like doing some of the God, what was his name? Chris Rock's character, Chris Tucker, rather. sorry.
Chris Tucker, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the Ruby Rose
Come in, my
things and maybe a few.
Bruce
other things, I don't know.
Willis. You also have Gary Oldman playing Zorg, I think, right?
No, I'm not just naming actors. I'm just trying to think of things that people would actually like quote or sing or whatever. I could see, like,
Obviously,
some of the
Leeloo
Ruby
Dallas
Rose stuff.
Multipass. Probably that. Come on, man. Come on. You got some fire. You got some fire. I got no matches. I got no fire. If I quit, I would have quit smoking. Father, you smoke? Like that might be one. Aziz Light. That's gonna be one. Definitely. Aziz Light is a pretty big. Yeah, stuff like that.
Hard to say.
But I don't know. I'm definitely with that. If I have to take it off work, I will. April 7th. Wait, what's on April 7th? SGT
I don't know.
Ice
That's a
Bowl.
long way.
I don't know. The other thing is like we were talking about Seattle
Yeah, Ruby Rose.
at some point. I think Seattle was mentioned at some point. I was tempted to go to Seattle. I'm gonna have to like get a hold of November and be like, yo, I'm gonna be in Seattle.
Is the stream frozen or is that just me?
I see it moving.
Could be me.
Oh, April 7th. Okay, I'm glad he's still working on it. I have no clue how far it is along. I know it's a lot of work for that kind of stuff.
Okay,
'cause
yeah.
he's also probably getting some. That was when like Clear Skies 3 had actual like professional voice actors as opposed to. Now I mean, I also had the same people doing the other characters like him and his buds from the game that did the first two movies, but like the bad guy in the third movie, that was a professional voice actor that did.
Hans Gruber.
Yeah, it was Hans Gruber. No, he had done he's actually done quite a bit of voice acting work for professional productions and other things. So
H. John Benjamin.
God,
God, that'd be epic.
what's his name? He could get Donald Sutherland to do it, maybe.
No, not anymore.
If it was already recorded, could you imagine the last recording? It's morbid, but
I mean, I could, but yeah.
I think it's good to call it. We're at 8:12.
I think we should.
That's cutting time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Something
I
like
was gonna
that.
say I'm trying to wrap up mining. I'm reading about some skyhook robberies. Got a little buzz. These things work.
That's the wrong one. Skyhook robberies.
Yeah, people are robbing skyhooks or attempting to.
I like that. Who do we want to rate? We want to rate.
What are our options?
I like to go a little further down. I mean, there's Shad Squatch. We've done him before. There's
see what we
Newmeyer.
got.
There's not you, Double Scout. That's not. What about YOLO Gaming? YOLO Gaming. What's he doing? English,
He's on a keep star, so I'm gonna say
PvP, and
he's
home
a block
defense.
guy. Let's go further.
There. What about Slavmanov?
High-sec mining and relaxing.
Not
up to
mining.
you. It's not super engaging.
Okay. Well, what if we go? It's Russian. Myers Russian.
Yeah, I was gonna say some Russians, somebody doing missions, hot drop o'clock. I don't know. I'd say somebody within the last handful, just because they're low viewer, even though we don't have a lot of viewers to offer them anyway.
Hot drop a clock. VTuber.
I mean, it looks like he's PvPing if nothing else.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
We could do balance it. I find that VTuber thing a little weird. It's fine though. Balance it. All right, Rage Grid. All right, we're gonna send the raid order. Thanks everyone for watching. We're out for the night. Have a good night.
Talk to you
Peace. See you, Space Gator. See Ego. Commander Starscream. Everyone else.
Be safe, guys. Talk to you in a week or so.
Evil. Bye. Should be off.